Stakes, nice and peaceful at the back here at one of the pre-parade rings.
Yes, interesting. Surprised for that early rally for him. They put up $3 on track. We're happy to invite you to back him, and punters have done that. You can see the comparison on the tote, where he's pretty skinny. Super Tab, $3.20, a little more under his $5.
Up for the Group 2 Tristarch Stakes. This is a minute away from start time. $3.20 now for Lucky Secret, backed in from $3.50 and
racing in the Tristarch. Tesbury Jack looked to jump a little awkwardly. Lucky Secret was away absolutely brilliantly. It is going for the lead in the early part, so going very fast. Has it in front of Capiro. Little Cashy, Valanda is up there. Tesbury Jack is now recovering and going fast on the outside. Further back then, Gamble Me, who settles well back on the inside, trailed by Soressa and Snappy Tom. Less than 600 to go, and Lucky Secret had the lead. He's a half in front of Tesbury Jack, a length and a half Capiro. Then Valanda fourth to Soressa, being followed then by Gamble Me. Then Little Cash and Snappy Tom. Lucky Secret leaves the fence and straightened up a length and a half. Tesbury Jack, Capiro, Valanda, Soressa under the whip. Snappy Tom is next. Lucky Secret seemingly has them all off the bit, passes the 200. Two in front of Capiro. Gamble Me making ground. Valanda's boxing on strongly. Lucky Secret out by a length and a half. Valanda having a last drive at him. Lucky Secret getting tied. Valanda dive, got him! The 3-year-old Valanda beat Lucky Secret. Last top, I'd say. Gamble Me might be third. Close up there was Snappy Tom, and they were followed further back then by Soressa and Capiro together, and then Tesbury Jack, and at the end of the field was Little Cashy.
The Exceed and Excel Colt has it. Valanda for Lee Friedman in the Dali colours. Green for you. Valanda $5.80 and $1.90. Lucky Secret $1.50.
Colt owned by Sheikh Mohammed, trained by Lee Friedman. Karen McAvoy wins. Lucky Secret $3.10 SP. There was $3,000 bet at $1.05 or less in the in-play. There was $1,500 to win 15 at $1.01. Lucky Secret in the last 100 metres. Rich, that's a punter's lament there, isn't it?
Oh, I tell you what, if you're betting in the run and...
No difference. It ran quick. There was a huge amount of money for this horse. Valanda got out to good odds, bless its little heart. And what I did like about Valanda too, after a good performance first up, he's improved. And look, tactically, he just might have added a new dimension to his repertoire here. Kieran rode it very quietly.
What's happening with the market as far as on course and on the tote as well? Of course, this is the Winning Edge Presentation Stakes over the 1.5 miles, Steve.
Yes, certainly. Obviously one of the key races leading into next week's Group 1 Caulfield Cup at the same course.
And coming along into the stalls, $4.10 and $1.70 fast future, $4.50 for racing in the Winning Edge Presentations. Caught them in a good line too. Dolphin Joe jumping well on the inside. Zavit and Chafalu, the two natural front runners, are going to the lead early. And Amato, Miss Marin, the two mares just in behind the speed in the early part. Dolphin on the rails in at the 800, had the lead uncontested by 2 lengths to maybe better. Zavit on the rail a half length away. Dolphin Joe trying to angle off the fence. Miss Marin keeping him pocketed in there. Then came Amato, the Wolverine, and Fast Future is about to let go with his run. Less than 600 in it now. Chafalu in front, a length and a half, maybe better. Zavit on the rail, then Miss Marin. Dolphin Joe still pocketed. Fast Future creeping around, followed by Amato and the Wolverine. Chafalu, he might take some running down. 2 lengths, Zavit around the turn. Miss Marin running a race, maybe better's gone, and Fast Future out wider with the Wolverine. Chafalu in front. Zavit is closing on him now. They come to the 200 metres. Dolphin Joe finally getting into the clear now. He's starting to emerge, and then the Wolverine. They're coming, the pair of them. The Wolverine and Dolphin Joe claim the lead together now. It's Dolphin Joe about a half in front. Too strong. Look at him go. Dolphin Joe beat the Wolverine by a length. Chafalu, Zavit every chance fourth. Miss Marin fifth. Then Amato. Fast Future. Bang. That was a bubble bursting as far as any cups are concerned. And maybe better dropped out last.
Dolphin Joe for Terry and Karina O'Sullivan. Claire Lindop on board.
11.60 on the tote as we watch a very happy Claire Lindop return to scale. There's totes on screen. 11.
Fourth, Miss Marin.
The horse who ran fifth in last year's Melbourne Cup for Claire Lindop and Terry O'Sullivan is now confirmed to run in the Caulfield Cup. It wasn't the plan going into yesterday's Winning Edge, but they come out of it. They're qualified, they're in, and they'll run.
Good luck. Good luck to them. I don't think they've got a hope in Hades, but if you've got a runner to go to the Caulfield Cup, good luck to you. The Wolverine got beat comfortably when he beat Furmachino. I don't think it's going that good at the moment.
Taking anything away from Dolphin Joe, he earned the performance. He was held up just prior to the corner. He was held up also a little bit down the straight, got clear and won nicely. The Wolverine, again, I thought it had every conceivable chance. Problem. Look, I don't think they're much good. They're not top-class horses. Look, the Dolphin Joe
ran 5th in a Melbourne Cup last year.
Andrew, I don't think he's got any hope in a Caulfield Cup. His chance is a Melbourne Cup because he can stay. And I'll tell you what, if we do get any rain, he comes further into calculation.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. I think he ran well in the Melbourne Cup last year. He would have appreciated that being in race 3 with that early watering of the track, because he does like a bit of sting out of the ground this one.
Store basically to Weekend Hustler. This is the first of the Group 1s coming up. Of course, Pompey Ruler, no Weekend Hustler here, no Latorio here either. And Pompey Ruler is the favourite, of course, for the Group 1, the Yalumba.
Well, the race has been overshadowed a little by the Turnbull in the past couple of years, but still
Of course, Pompey Ruler, the 6-year-old by Genuine for Mick Price and Craig Newitt. He's drawn pretty well here. He's in great form. Of course, Latorio had that 6-kilo.
Sermiani viewed, representing the stable. Now Guillotine comes up alongside of Pompey Ruler. Largo Lad. Yes, hello.
Come on, man.
Yes.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
241, thank you. 241 viewed as out. Bookmakers, please rule a line of betting. And the starter again climbs the ladder and addresses the field. Hits the button, go time, and Largo Lad missed the start. And he's drifted back with Sailor Gear, and Casual Pass was the first one out, and he finds the lead comfortably out a couple of lengths in front of Doro Valley. Pompey Ruler settling third, and Guillotine settling nicely this afternoon. 2 lengths away in fourth, one Sermiani inside, and a length and a half last of all was Sailor Gear. About 7 lengths covered them, 1,000 metres to go now, and Doro Valley strode around the outside now for James Winks and took over the running. 2 lengths to Casual Pass, 2 lengths to Guillotine. Pompey Ruler enjoying a beautiful trail on the outside. Then came Largo Lad trying to work his way clear with Sermioni on his outside. He's now back second last, and last of all Sailor Gear. Doro Valley coming up the side, almost a length now Casual Pass, 2 lengths away Guillotine. Pompey Ruler just starting to creep a little closer at the 600. Sermioni's gone onto his back now, and then came Largo Lad, Sailor Gear. Doro Valley leads, Casual Pass niggled to stay with him. 2 lengths away Pompey Ruler. He's striding into it well, getting to the outside and running home. Sermioni follows him, Sailor Gear with the last run, and Guillotine cut the corner. He's after Doro Valley. Doro Valley led by a length and a half. Guillotine, Pompey Ruler, and they're clear from Sailor Gear. Doro Valley still in front at the 200 by a length to Pompey Ruler, Guillotine and Sailor Gear. Doro Valley in front in the dying stages. Guillotine tries to get to him, but Doro Valley by a neck to Pompey Ruler, a nose to Guillotine and Sailor Gear fourth. There followed Largo Lad right on their heels. Sermioni battled away, and Casual Pass dropped out to run last.
Duro Valley, the naturalism winner of last year by Costa de Largo for Dan O'Brien, and James Weeks takes out the Group 1 at Yalumba Stakes, and he's held off Guillotine at one stage. He looked as if he was going to threaten Pompey Ruler, making a late dive there right on the line, but Duro Valley holding on and taking out the Group.
He's had 3 and Master Riley's had 2 starts, but I think they've both shown that they're him today and Master last week, that they're right on target to be very hard to beat next Saturday.
Terrific today. He made
us at Caulfield Stakes, and last week Master Riley ran second in a Turnbull. Yeah, they were coming out of naturalisms and winning edges last year. So they're going better, but they've got more weight too.
And you left lamenting goes to the Cox Plate. Guillotine backs up next week. The winner drops 4.5. The third horse drops 6.5. Taking into account the weights for the Caulfield Cup will go up 1.5 kilos. Sailor Gear won't be going there at all. Sermione, you couldn't back in the Cox Plate off that performance. Steve, it's a bit difficult to analyse all this.
Very clever ride from James Winks, really, is the bottom line. They ran the first 1,000 in 1.5 and then skipped home in better than a minute for the last 1,000, so he dominated from the front. I'd be forgiving of those behind. Obviously, Casual Pass had the thumps, forget him. Sermione, I agree, couldn't back him in a Cox Plate, but he's just a Flemington horse. He could improve in the McKinnon. Pompey Ruler, his coat's just not there. He doesn't look quite right. Whether he takes further benefit from this run, he's the only horse I could back in a Cox Plate out of this race.
So I couldn't back him. I backed him yesterday, Pompey Ruler, and I don't think Duro Valley is a weight for age horse. I think he's a handicapper. I thought Pompey Ruler was entitled to run straight past him. I know that he had a...
We'll get to see that later. He'll be running there. And Steve, as we mentioned yesterday, it's going to get down to this. All the good, Anamato, Ice Chariot and Viewed for the last 2 spots, if you take out Pompey Ruler and Sailor Gur.
Yes, I guess if we assume that all those listed there are definites, would there be any question mark Zarita after her running the Turnbull?
Well, only on a health issue.
Is Phil Machino coming? Danny O'Brien's got a big hand again.
Well, did the winner stay home yesterday? Latorio Weekend Hustler, top of the market says so too, Master O'Reilly. The top 3 in betting weren't there yesterday, Steve. Interesting, isn't it? But it is a very competitive race. We look down there now. All a good one. The second running of the Ebor, they rename it, so we can't get a group rating on that. Heatherly.
Now I want you to say, Clay, you're going. Just look down the barrel of the camera and say, "Nom de jeu can't win. We'll do a lap of Caulfield." Okay. I think it can win. I'm nearly got it on top.
Well, that New Zealand Derby form, Rich,
is outstanding.
Stacks up. Sailor Good.
Plan worked and we got the cash.
Danny, you seem to have the timing perfect with your 2 Caulfield Cup runners again this year. We all know you quinelled it last year, and look, Master O'Reilly.
And their last lead-up runs, both Master and the Turnbull and Duro yesterday have been spot on, and I think they'll run equally as well, hopefully, as last year.
And Danny, with that luxury comes extra weight. They've got to carry more weight this year than last year. That means they've got to be going better this year than last year. Do you think they are?
Oh, I think they are. Yeah, they're more seasoned racehorses now.
Sailor Gur. I've got to say, out of yesterday's race, Duro Valley, we know he loves Caulfield and he'll run well at the 2400 metres, and I can have Sailor Gur out of that race, but I can't have any of the others. I'm sorry. I put the pen through the rest of them in that race yesterday. What do you think about that, Duff?
Look, I think the market's right. I'm with the favourites there. I'm with Latorio and Master O'Reilly, and maybe respect the New Zealanders. I can't have Weekend Hustler at 2400, although he's wearing a tongue tie, I hear. Yeah, looking a little thinner now. Well, the obvious is this New Zealand mare, Princess Coup. Samantha Miss could be the year of the filly. A filly won the Arc, you know, Richard.
Yeah, well, you keep betting on 3-year-old fillies in the Cox Plate, you keep losing your money. You know, one day it'll happen.
Do you think that filly had any chance in the Arc this year?
I didn't even look. Right, I don't claim to know much.
They're the ones we'll be looking for.
And these horses...
Caulfield, of course, it is the David Jones Toorak Handicap, the Group 1, the second of the Group 1s for the day.
$7 or 6-1 on track, and on the tote, the favourite is Bonhoeffer at $7.90 or 7-1. He's $8.50 on track. There's your totes on screen. Pretty similar across the country, although you can see outside of there on the first half. Let's have a look at the second page. Sea Battle, barrier 17, but has his admirers, $8.50, and down to Turf on
last week and the trip down.
No, he looked right and well here today, and certainly his work too has been up to the right sort of standard. He's got a bit of an issue with the gate. He's going to have to do a little bit of work the first furlong to get in somewhere. So, you know, if he gets like a cheap furlong, if he can, that first furlong and a half, he'll be right in the mix as well.
And the Caulfield Guineas again.
Racing. Bonhoeffer jumped reasonably. Rahib a touch slow to the outside. Marching and Orange County go back. King Dakar away quickly. So is Heady Angels. And Rockwood is up there in the early part. And Annenkov goes forward as well as they sort out their order. Heady Angels speared across and found the lead. Annenkov rushed up into second, and Sea Battle went up third but wide. Rockwood right behind them, making toe in the middle, and Marching was back last of all. The field comes down the side of the course, led by Heady Angels, a neck in front. Sea Battle second. Pillar of Hercules deep out went to third. Rockwood right behind them. Eskimo Queen creeping up outside Annenkov. One further back, Turfontaine, Molotov, Alamosa, and then King Dakar. Orange County deep out coming into it, followed by the Fuzz, and then Rahib. Bonhoeffer has a wall of horses in front of him, followed by Marching, Valedictum, and Confectioner brings up the rear with Our Smoking Joe. They turn for home. Heady Angels, Sea Battle, Pillar of Hercules, a line of three. Rockwood getting a split. Wider out, Alamosa starting to come home, and then Eskimo Queen and Rahib coming with Orange County down the outside. It's Alamosa, Rockwood getting through. Sea Battle coming at them. Don't know where to look here. Alamosa takes the lead now out wide. Alamosa the Kiwi. Alamosa drew away and won it from Rockwood second. Anything third. Pillar of Hercules, Rahib, Sea Battle are there. Valedictum wider out, and King Dakar. Any one of a half a dozen for the third from Turfontaine, Eskimo Queen. Then Annenkov and the Fuzz, followed by Heady Angels, Molotov and Bonhoeffer. Marching in Confectioner, Orange County, and Our Smoking Joe, one of the last to finish.
What a great job Mick Price has done with Alamosa. What a super performance there to take out the Group 1. David Jones Tones Toorak Handicap, of course.
Look, it was a beautiful ride. It drew badly, 3 deep with cover, rear of midfield. Horse just came into it really good, and he's just a really good mile handicapper. Probably a bit of...
Get this horse ready for this race. He's been racing competitive against the best, but he's probably a length or two below him. And Mick, to his credit, he freshened him up and done a terrific job.
It's 960 and 330. Rockwood, a big effort for second, 530. Pillar of Hercules was third, 390.
Blinkers off. Newitt on. Significant Group 1 Australian win for Alamosa, the stallion by O'Reilly. Sent here to win an Australian Group 1 from New Zealand by Bill Gleeson. And
well, Richard, you must have been on. 1.9 lengths behind Weekend Hustler at Wait for Age. Came back to the handicap, and he was too good. Rockwood was solid. There were lots of good runs in the race. Sea Battle enormous, pushing forward from the outside gate. Pillar of Hercules was terrific. The Rupert Clark form didn't hold up around the first two, which is a little unusual, but...
like suggesting no Cox Plate for this horse. Rich, he's won his Group 1 handicap. Surely he could have a dip at a wait for age race for a stallion.
That was only his 4th start in Australia. I'd be running him in the Cox Plate for sure, and I think without the blinkers, I think he settled better, and most important, great ride, awkward gate to get cover of the 3 deep. Most definitely, I'd be putting him in the Cox Plate and then perhaps say the Emirates.
Well, there he is, Stephen, the betting at $17. The Hustler reclaims favouritism by default to some extent. What would you run him in?
Look, I think I'd be tempted to run in the Cox Plate too again this year because I think it just falls away. I mean, out of the two major...
Again, as I say, he travelled sort of 3 and 4 deep with cover, just come out the corner and run well. I really did think that Sea Battle's run was simply awesome. Michael was a little aggressive with Sea Battle in the early stages, had to work up the hill, and, you know, eventually got to outside the leader, and I thought he stuck on very, very well indeed. I didn't think he'd be that close in the run, but as it turned out, you can go through a heap of these horses and say how well they performed.
Yeah, but I can't find an excuse for any of them. I mean, there was just no excuses behind the winner. He was dominant. He's been hanging out for the pace of a handicap. Wait for Age, you know, that might... The slackness and changeability of pace in Wait for Age races might bring him undone from time to time, but the good solid pace of a handicap with a big field, that was perfect for him. He got to the right part of the track, and as it proved on the day, that, you know, he was in the right lane there, and too strong.
He's a great trainer, this bloke. He's definitely a great trainer, and when he speaks, people listen, and because he's got so much common sense that comes out of his mouth, and you can make money listening to him. I just love it.
Caulfield, it is time for the feature race of the day. The $1 million, the age Caulfield Guineas for the 3-year-olds. The third of the Group 1s for the day. Hoover Got You is the favourite, $3.20 at this stage. Steve, we'll have a look at the market shortly. We've just a bit of a...
$9.50 down to 7 Dreamscape, the visitor, trained by Gay Waterhouse, $9.70. Barchia Moore, big odds, $33 for David Payne. Next page, Hoover Got You, $3.40, $4.10 in New South Wales. On track, as we mentioned, he's $3.20. And big odds, the 3 emergencies, 3 of the...
Yeah, they're backing a few here as well, Caroline, as you'd expect. Number 1, Von Costa de Hero has been $14 into $12. It's taken a good bet of $35,000 each way on Von Costa de Hero. All-American was $18 a few days ago. Amazing price, $8.50 out to $10 today. It's $16 here. Dreamscape has been 7 out to $9.50. Hoover Got You has been solid at $3.20. Bookie's not game to go too much further than that. There's been plenty of money for Hoover Got You. Lord
Hoover Got You, $3.20. As we said, this is such an important...
Hopefully, you know, he can win it.
It was encouraging what you saw that night, wasn't it?
Oh, I was pretty encouraged, I mean, but...
Make it in if he could. All set. Racing in the Guineas now. And Fernandina got a flyer on the inside. Bondarchuk eased back, and so did Hoover Got You. He settles with about 4 behind him. All-American runs to the lead after 200. Rockdale quickly up to second. Dreamscape is right up there too with Time Thief. Right behind the leader then Fernandina from Lord Tavistock. They're followed by Whitefriars going up about 6th on the outside. Then Go-Go Canny, and they're followed further back Dewporth between runners with Go past 1,000 metres and Barchia Moore in the middle. To Hoover Got You, gave the lead about probably 9 lengths, and behind him Von Costa de Hero, Carnero and Bondarchuk 2 lengths away at the 800, and it's Rockdale leading narrowly from Whitefriars, 2 lengths to Dreamscape, 1 to Lord Tavistock, 3/4 All-American, 2 lengths Fernandina, Time Thief around him, couple of lengths away away. Then came Dewporth, Georgia's Boy, Go-Go Canny feeling the pinch. Who Begot You starting his move, and then Barchiamore, Von Costa de Hero and Canero from Minnesota Shark and Bondarchuk. Rockdale led Lord Tavistock, Whitefriars and All American coming around the turn. Here comes Who Begot You now. He's circling with Time Thief and Dewporth running up into a pocket. Rockdale around the turn by 2 lengths. Who Begot You starting to wind up, and Time Thief comes with him now. They're racing to the lead together, and then Von Costa de Hero. Who Begot You got the upper hand though from Time Thief, and then Von Costa de Hero, but he is a star. Who Begot You starting to gap them. Races away to win the Guineas by 3 lengths to Time Thief. Third, a length and a half away, Von Costa de Hero. Dewporth and Carnero and a photo for 4th, and then came Rockdale, followed further back by Dreamscape, All-American, Barchiamore and Bondarchuk. Back behind those to finish then was Fernandina. They're followed by Georgia's Boy, Lord Tavistock, Minnesota Shark, Whitefriars, and last to finish was Go-Go Canny.
Who Begot You, Mark Kavanagh and Michael Rodd take out the aged Caulfield Guineas, the Group 1. He won the Tristarch Stakes with absolute ease. He's done it again here. You could see him circling the field. The leaders were travelling well, but this horse was travelling even better, and he's beaten home the Darley 2nd and 3rd place getters. Number 14, Time Thief, finishing in 1, Von Costa de Hero 3rd.
That was arrogant, it was embarrassing, it was contemptuous. It's nearly as good a win as a Caulfield Guineas as you'll see. The only one that springs to mind is a horse called Lonhro, who won, 23 races and multiple Group 1s. He's run half a second quicker than the Toorak Handicap winner, and that is absolutely a brilliant performance from this horse, Who Begot You. This day last year, Mark Kavanagh won both Group 1s, not this one. Today, he takes the Guineas.
He has.
Mark Kavanagh, that was a pretty awesome performance by your 3-year-old.
Yeah, gee, just cruised around him, and you know, to win the way that he did is certainly pretty exciting.
Are you convinced yet? You've been talking him down all week. Are you convinced?
Well, you know, shit, I don't know. He just keeps improving, and we're nowhere near the bottom of him yet.
Did that performance then surprise you in any way?
Yeah, actually it did. Well, I've got a bit of time for Time Thief, and he just, you know, treated those guys with contempt. This, I don't know.
It's the sort of 3-year-old performance that would warrant a start in the Cox Plate, wouldn't it?
Not at this stage. Look, we don't, you know, he's a gelding. We've got a few years in front of us, a bit of fun. We've had a bit of fun today, and we want to keep having fun. We don't want to gut him.
The last time we're going to see him.
I don't want to gut him.
The last time we're going to see him in the spring, surely.
Oh, no, you go to the Vars now in the Derby.
Blew apart the following week. I mean, is this put behind you the haunt of Caulfield?
Oh, nothing will go. Nothing. No.
You've got a good horse, though.
Yeah. He's a good horse, yeah.
Good on you, Mark. Well done.
Thanks.
Mark Kavanagh, winning trainer here of the aged Caulfield Guineas. Pretty emotional.
Oh, super emotion there. You could see the adrenaline running through, his hands shaking. He's not sure what he's meant to be saying, but so exciting to see that sort of a scene there in a winning trainer.
Starting performance. An arrogant win in the Group 1. You don't see it.
It was, Bruce. It was sort of, you know, everything sort of panned out perfect, come to the half mile, and just couldn't believe how he was going underneath me. He was just doing it too easy, and I sort of thought, well, this is a Group 1. I'm going to have to switch him into gear just to make sure he doesn't drop out too much. And as soon as I switched him on, off he goes. He just switches into gear, and I mean, he's like Big Brown, you know, when he was winning his races over in the US, and yeah, he just sort of takes care of him quite easily.
You're happy when you...
It just worked out perfect.
I know you're in the Melbourne Cup winner and efficient, but this horse is pretty much exciting. I mean, could he be the best horse you've ridden?
He is. I mean, Efficient was a great horse to me, and still owes a special part in my heart. And he won a Melbourne Cup, but this bloke's not far off him. You know, he's certainly emulating everything that he's done. And
great day. Well done, Michael.
Thanks a lot, Gold. This horse in the end for.
We're near the bottom of him.
Looking forward to many, many more years as we watch Mark Kavanagh.
He's
always fantastically theatrical during these big races.
He's almost embarrassed. He was embarrassed
I think
to see the horse win the way that he did.
He made the big call that Who Begot You, the brilliant winner of the Guineas, was better than Weekend Hustler.
Most extraordinary performance I've seen for a long time, Bruce. This horse yesterday, Who Begot You. It's interesting to reflect back this morning, isn't it? Both horses ran identical time, 1:36.4 in the Caulfield Guineas. I haven't seen a horse win like that, particularly that race, since Lonhro. Lonhro's one of the great horses of Australian racing in the past 10 years. Obviously, it's silly to say that at the moment. You know, Who Begot You, Weekend Hustlers won 7 Group 1s and $3 million. But I think that Who Begot You's performance yesterday was better than Weekend Hustler 12 months ago. Weekend Hustler beat an EI-affected field. I think yesterday's lineup was high class and he destroyed them with contempt.
That's the case. I want to be on the right side. I agree 100% with Steve Moore on what Steve exactly said yesterday after the race and what he said again this morning. It's the most dominant performance I've seen in the Caulfield Guineas. And it win.
Yeah, it did. Actually, I was speechless after that win yesterday.
You were?
I haven't seen one win like that for a while.
Was that is that the reason you were
a bit excited? But it was certainly a moving win. He's a really good horse.
Well, that's an understatement, isn't it? As I said,
this one's not a stallion, but there was some amazing offers for the horse the last few weeks, and you know, sit a bloke down and say if you've had offers of sort of $1 million for your horse and tell him that they're robbing you, it's pretty hard.
Well, he was passed at the sale. He was passed on only 6 starts, 4 wins now, including that Group 1, the first of what looks to be many coming for Who Begot You, the horse with the intriguing name. One day we'll find out. And Steve, the merit in that performance, as you watch them go across the line, the margins tend to extend.
Well, they do, Bruce, and look, yeah, it's pretty easy to indulge in lots of hyperbole when you see a performance like this, but why don't we celebrate it at the moment for what it was? It was absolutely outstanding. I stand by the comment about Lonhro, who won 26 races. He didn't win the Guineas any more impressively than that.
Going to overtax him too much. He can have 2 more starts this time and stay in his 3-year-old grade, and then he can come back for a little autumn and see what happens next year.
You don't fancy 13-1 in the Cox Plate? That's what you get.
No, that's $5. If the market goes in, he's $5.
No. They've got to pay $130,000 to win 1.8 million. It's 13-1.
You know, if it's logical to consider it, but certainly, you know, in the big picture, it could have a real gut buster and may not come back or whatever. He's better off going around against his own age and then going in the Derby. There's nothing wrong with winning or running in a Derby.
Is this a case of
running in a Derby?
Yeah, he's run a good race. Got onto the back of the winner there, turn of a home, and the winner just picked up really well. He's obviously a great horse and it was a good win. My horse just levelled out and didn't have any answer for it, you know.
He had a good run throughout, good even run, first time in Melbourne for him, so I thought he ran a good even race. Too good to win it.
Cox Plate now, VRC Derby. $2. They're not running in the Cox Plate, Steve. $2.20 in the VRC Derby over Carnero, who's got a chance. Amazoos missed out yesterday. Memorise Wazusa, his horse, you're going around in the age Caulfield Guineas. And Mark, just take us through it now from you watching yourself here. What's going on in your head?
Oh, well, look at him.
Is this when he shoots clear?
Never going to lose. You know, look, he'd gone 100 metres and he was just never going to lose. I've never had that feeling in a big race like that before. It was unbelievable.
Just watching the introduction there, you think that everything was on the trainer's shoulders there.
Yeah, well, you'd swear blind it was vision from last year where Maldivian went up in the barrier there.
Very relieved or something.
Maybe relief, but look, he's had a boom on him, the horse, all week, and a justified boom. It was proven yesterday. And I don't think the trainer can even believe, Mark Kavanagh, how good this horse is, Who Begot You. The world is at his feet. And look,
a little later, look, the horse's win, Who Begot You, was devastating. Fabulous win. And look, he looks like a horse, a 3-year-old colt that can be competitive in a Cox Plate to me. I know the owners are keen on it. I don't think Mark's that keen on it.
He's not nominated, is he?
Yeah, details I'm not sure on, but I'm telling you, he is a competitor in that race. I give 3-year-old fillies no hope in the race and have done for 25 years, and it served me well. But 3-year-old colts, different story.
Richard, he hasn't got those vital little things that are needed to be a future stallion.
Yes, I know he's a gelding, but the male of the species. I still consider you a male of the species, Andrew.
So did my wife, thankfully, there, Richard.
Consideration, what 3-year-old last year in terms of Weekend Hustler? You know, do you think he was more electrifying yourself than Weekend Hustler last year?
Oh, again, I'm not going to go and compare him against someone like a horse like Weekend Hustler, but the way he dominated yesterday was, you know, I don't think there's been a win like that for quite a while in the Guineas. So.
Ironic, they ran the same time too.
Is that right? Well, there you go. So you can draw some comparisons, but no, he's just he's going through his grades, as you could say, very easily, and
serves energy, switches off, and when you peel him to the outside, he has got a turn of speed like, dare I say, champions do have.
That's right, Ron. He's, you know, for a jockey to ride, he's just fabulous through a race. He's always a little bit slow out of the barriers, but he just slowly builds on it through the race, and yeah, you've just got to give him room and point him in the right direction, and he'll give you that turn of foot at, you know, at the furlong or whatever, and he'll sprint away.
He got into a good spot out of the
Just on the beaten brigade there, I think Time Thief was sensational there. I doubted him at a mile leading into the race, but he was beautifully ridden by Dunn there, and I really think there's a big race in this horse next preparation. I still feel it's the big race in him is a 1200 or a 1400 metre race, but he stamped himself as a top class horse there yesterday, and Von Costa de Hero, he lifted on the big occasion. It's ironic that Darley had second and third, and they had the stallion of the winner there, Street Cry. So
yeah.
It's a
rightly so. Damsel Fly wins the Thoroughbred Guineas preview, 1,000 Guineas market for Wednesday. This is going to be there to be won, Steve, isn't it? Rom Naya coming for disappointing performance. Portillo down from chasing Samantha Miss. Gallica, who's emerged. Cat's Whiskers, Mark happy with the way she's going. I like Sparks.
The Cox Plate has suffered another blow with the Mick Price-trained Pompey Ruler ruled out of the Weight for Age Classic. After finishing second to Duro Valley in Saturday's Yalumba Stakes, Price confirmed Pompey Ruler had broken down. It continues the trainer's wretched run with his other hope, the one-time race favourite Light Fantastic, also scratched from the race. Price will...
The Group 1 1,000 Guineas last year in an emphatic style there. Now this year it seems to be just as tricky a race. It was a pretty wide market, I think, too last year. But you're watching the market before your eyes now, and there's plenty of value there if you can find the winner. Let's put them in market order. Favourite, Gallica, it's now at $4.
And the field is ready for the Schweppes 1,000 Guineas. Racing now. Romney jumped well with Dan Baroness. Gallica got away okay. Also, Cat's Whisker goes forward in the early part, and a few of them snag right back. Tarmia goes right back towards the end, passing the 1400, and Cat's Whisker goes to the lead ahead of Oval Affair. Love and Kisses drives on, gets to second, and Gallica ends up 1 out, 1 back for Oliver. Camille's here, length and a half away, and they're followed fast as they come up the side and fly higher, about 20 lengths off the leader at the end of the field. 700 to go. Cat's Whisker by a length to Love and Kisses, Oval Affair, and then Gallica in 4th place. Romney 5th on the inside. Sparks Fly is starting a wide run around the outside. 600 left to go. Portillo's following her into the race, and Camille's going with them. They're bunching now, and further back in the field as they swing around the turn, his arms wide open into the straight now in the Guineas, and here's Gallica let go by Oliver, and she's gone up to join Love and Kisses and Cat's Whisker. Camille's in the clear. Sparks Fly wider out, and then Glow Lamp and Oval Affair. Gallica hit the lead. Romney starts to thread through, and she's chasing her, and Cat's Whisker fights back. It's Gallica from Cat's Whisker. Then came Romney running on. Gallica about a neck in front of Cat's Whisker. Romney, Sparks Fly. Gallica for Oliver. It's Gallica to win it. Gallica by a length to Cat's Whisker. Third either Glow Lamp or Romney, and a photo from Oval Affair and Sparks Fly. Camilsey, and then came Portillo, and further back Tarmia. Behind those was Tremolo, Queen of the Falls, arms wide open, and they were trailed further back then by Love and Kisses. Apennine back towards the end. Dan
Aiden at Bairnsdale 7 weeks ago. Now she's a Group 1 winning filly, and a valuable one at that for Mick Price, Reduced Choice filly. Rob Hart spoke to Steve pre-race. I mean, you can never lose, can't get over the loss of Pompey Ruler, but what a great job for this filly.
Yeah, look, it's fantastic for the Hardings. They've been probably the best supporters since day one, when I had my little stable out the back of there at Epsom. He's just been a great owner, so and he's bought some fillies that have been a bit slow, but this one's, you know, Group 1. It's just fantastic for him, and he can do some breeding now.
Well, they've been with you since
and it was pretty moderate tempo mid-race, and when I eased her out, I thought it was going to take a good one to run her down, because she quickened up really good.
Mick's going to pull stumps next in the autumn. You think she's going to be terrific?
Yeah, I think she's got the makings of a top-class filly for sure.
Good in there, Damien. Well done.
Thanks, mate.
Well, that's it for her. She goes to the paddock after winning the 1,000 Guineas. You know, great job for Connections. The Reduced Choice filly cost $250,000 with the bent leg, a wonky leg, Gallica, but runs well. The question mark out of this, I suppose, with she not going forward, Rich, is how do you line the Sydney 3-year-old fillies up with a view to Samantha Miss in the Cox Plate?
Well, see, I look at it on a different angle. I think it proves the form outstanding. For the reason that Love and Kisses was an afterthought. She's gone the paddock. Portillo had a very much interrupted preparation. Glow Lamp was clearly the third best Sydney filly. Now, she had a head on the side, did everything wrong, and ran, I think, a clear ran third there in that race. I think it shows Samantha Miss toyed with her like she was a B-grader. I think it helps the form.
I think, Steve, you've got your view.
Lamp ran very well, and even on Wednesday in the 1,000 Guineas, Portillo, given the lack of pace and the wide run, her run was okay too. So I don't think there's any knock on that Samantha Miss form.
Okay, let's have a look.
After Gallagher won the 1,000 Guineas, it told me that Samantha Miss hasn't got the edge on all of the 3-year-olds.
Rubbish. Rubbish.
Well, you did say that if they didn't win, it would cast a shadow over the form, but now you're not saying that.
No, look, these fillies are going there after a bit of some hard racing.
Well,
there.
so she.
No, Gallagher's had the timing perfect with the Mick Price.
Hang on, hang on. Samantha Miss went round in the same race as those other fillies.
What about Glow Lamp, the maiden filly that's been... look,
runs well.
It'd be different if they were all together, but Samantha Miss dominated. It's different dominating a field than just beating them. She's toyed with them.
Just quickly, will it be of an assistance to Samantha Miss of only 10 or 11 turn up?
Possibly, Andrew, possibly. I'd have to agree there, but look, she looked a well.
Horse of the Year, Weekend Hustler, can create history by winning Saturday's Caulfield Cup. And it seems punters agree. The Hustler was backed into outright favouritism after drawing gate 11 at this morning's barrier draw.
The hand of Ross McDonald has struck twice before in Caulfield Cups, with Tristarch and Impasira winning in the 80s. He believes Weekend Hustler can win him a third, despite drawing gate 11.
I'm still confident in the horse. It'll be up to Brad now to put him in the right spot and let him go to sleep and let him work home.
It could have been a successful barrier, while David Hayes now favours Zagreb as his best chance.
I reckon he's running. And just see that...
Well, looking forward to this Caulfield Cup. We're up to race 4 here at Caulfield this afternoon, where the favourite in the ring is number 4, Emperor Bonaparte. No surprise there. $4.20 they put up. They bet $4.40. That was immediately taken.
For a Norman Robinson winner to go on and win the Derby, of course, they'll have to get past Hoover Gotcha. If he runs well in the Vars, he'll be heading on towards the Derby, the Caulfield Guineas winner. Right on start time for the Isles.
Away they go now. St Kilpay eased at the start. Preeminence hard ridden to try and find a place, and Miss Scarletti scooting over. Dwayne Dunn finding the lead comfortably on the filly ahead here of Preeminence, booting up into second placing. Exultastic splitting those two horses now. Falcon on a wide run goes up to 4th. This will ensure some speed here. Just behind those things away. Heading along to the 600, Preeminence led. Falcon is running second on the outside. A length and a half, Exultastic, followed by Miss Scarletti. Emperor Bonaparte handy enough now as they neared the turn, and then Trust Us. Larry's Never Late, Paddy O'Reilly. Walker miles above St Kilpay. Preeminence coming around the turn in front of Falcon. Miss Scarletti running up behind the leader, looking for the gap, which is Piers at the turn. Then Exultastic, and wider was Emperor Bonaparte. It's Preeminence the leader. Here comes the filly, Miss Scarletti coming after him. Paddy O'Reilly is running on. Falcon dropped off. Trust Us making ground. Preeminence still in front of Miss Scarletti, and then came Paddy O'Reilly. Preeminence in front, holding them at bay. Ridden out with the whip, and Preeminence scored, pulling away by 2 lengths to Miss Scarletti, and then Paddy O'Reilly, followed by Larry's Never Late into 4th placing from Walker Trust Us. Then came Exultat.
Tough, sound young horse, but 2 weeks will be beautiful. That's why we wanted to run today.
And another good result for the Hardings as well, along with some other part owners.
Yeah, they'll be spending up big Nick.
Well, turn it round yesterday, racing back on the speed, which is its normal pattern. The Preeminence there for Mick, and he will persevere on to the Derby. More on that shortly with him. The filly, Miss Scarletti.
Ran home very well again, as he tends to do. The winner, I thought, was good, given that he did plenty of work to cross in the early part of the race and lead, and then toughed it out. He responds here as Miss Scarletti draws near him, and as we can see, that's great vision, but he kicks on the line. Now, Miss Scarletti didn't have a great deal of luck. She was okay.
Look, I don't think these are the best 3-year-olds. They're idling over. Who begot you? Look, a different league, there's no question about that. I think to want to run to the line, I don't know what it is. Maybe he just hasn't got it. I'm not sure.
Larry's Levitt.
DVD, Steve.
Yes, it's been upgraded from a dead 4 to a good 3 following the previous race. Cambio favourite around the $5 mark, $4.60 out to 5. Over the page down to Chasm, $7.50 to 8.
The bullet for Tracy Bartley and Blake Shin, the strap just up runs. For Estee, that is the VRC Oaks, thanks to Betstar. Let's just go across to you, Bruce.
been out the back. Zagreb's arrived on course here. A lot of the Cup runners just arriving at the last minute here. Zagreb's arrived on course. They haven't had the vet inspection yet. That'll be super confident this horse is 100%. When they reshot him, they just said it was a bit tight.
Runners, they're off and racing now. Helideck didn't jump all that well, and Turfontaine, Rasmussen are the first couple to bounce out. Rasmussen going to the lead, Stickpin getting up on the inside, Helideck recovering, Royal Discretion came over as well, but Rasmussen led Royal Discretion, Helideck is third, and then Stickpin fourth, the inside of Turfontaine as they've settled down fully. Murder Jill's caught wide and going forward. El Cambio next on the inside. Gotta Have Heart starting to make a run mid-race, and then came Chasm. Cargo Jill went round the field and led Gotta Have Heart as second. They've both worked. A length and a half away, then Rasmussen third on the inside. Royal Discretion is fourth, handily placed. 2 lengths to Helideck and Stickpin. Then came Turfontaine, Chasm. On the rails, El Cambio, and 2 lengths away came Cargo Cult. And then Pinnacles and Sniper's Bullet from Railings. Vandalo Mission Critical. Murder Jill led. Gotta Have Heart under the whip. Helideck is trying to get a run through. Rasmussen ahead of it under pressure. Here's Royal Discretion coming, and Stickpin, Turfontaine next from Chasm. Royal Discretion swept up and goes to the lead now. Stickpin running on from Turfontaine. Chasm coming through. Royal Discretion in front. Here's Turfontaine after it. Chasm along the inside, but Royal Discretion will win it. Royal Discretion a half length Turfontaine, and nose away Stickpin, and Chasm close up. Sniper's Bullet got home nicely, and then Pinnacles, El Cambio away.
Number 10, Royal Discretion, Gay Waterhouse, Nash Farilla. Well, Gay said it's a pretty...
It's now genuinely good. It's dried out. The weather's warm here at Caulfield. Probably now into the mid to high 20s here. Pretty tough. Turfontaine.
And as we said before the race, that track at Randwick on Super Saturday, Epsom Day, was like an ice skating rink. So a lot of these horses didn't have...
Racing this in recent years. The past 2 winners, Lord of the Dance, Perfectly Ready, didn't win another race. The 2005 winner didn't win another race that spring.
Oh, hang on, there's been a few good ones, wasn't it? Rogue, Rough Habit.
Ancient history, Bruce. You're going back 20 years.
The Hayes Camp and Glenn Boss and everyone involved. Jerry Harvey, of course, as well. Zagreb. Mild lameness in the off-4 he was found to have. Of course, as we said, the Farrier Andes, of course, also known as the Tristarch Stakes. And Mimi LeBrock tops the market at $3.70.
On track, she's $4 out to $4.40. Serious significant from the bookmakers at this early point over the page. Absolutely fabulous in commission. So
look, he galloped brilliantly on Thursday. He galloped brilliantly Tuesday. You know, sometimes feet happen very quickly and recover quickly, and sometimes they linger on. I'd like to think I'm an optimist. I think it'll get...
To go in the Tristarch. Racing now, and not a bad start. Joyous hustled out of the barrier stalls to lead Bonded, Fashion Street. Mimi LeBrock, Gamble Me is coming over in the early part. Musadora's on for the speed as well. They really charge it early. Fashion Street driving through. Gamble Me just has the advantage on the outside though. Musadora, Joyous fourth. Mimi LeBrock gets the lovely trail just off them fifth. A length and a half to Bonded. Went back last. Gamble Me at the 800 by neck to Fashion Street. 2 lengths to Musadora. Joyous on the inside fourth. Mimi LeBrock 2 lengths away. The favourites fifth outside Bonded. They're being trailed by Benatar. Vecchia Roma the outside. Serious Speed buried away on the rail. One further back, Absolutely Fabulous. And then Litter, Arapaho, Miss Bernicia, Tantat, Delago and Sung. It's Fashion Street the leader from Joyous and Gamble Me feeling the pinch round the turn. Then Musadora. Mimi LeBrock has something to offer. She's starting to run on strongly. Bonded's held up for a run. Then Benatar, Vecchia Roma. But Mimi LeBrock dashed to the lead at the 200 from Joyous. Serious Speed getting through near the inside with Absolutely Fabulous. Tantat Delago from well back, but Mimi LeBrock's away and gone. Tantat Delago charges home, but Mimi LeBrock wins it by a length and a half. Tantat Delago and Absolutely Fabulous ahead away third. Serious Speed ran fourth, then Joyous. Getting home hard was Bernicia, a nice run. Followed in...
She was never in doubt, this mare, travelling beautifully. He gave
3.3, that's quicker than the boys, quicker than Royal Discretion. She's a top-class mare. Blinkers switched her on and 100.
Very popular.
At odds ran on well. You can see the totes on the screen. 360 for the runner-up, 360 for Absolute Fabulous.
Changed yesterday. Blinkers on, winkers off. Carried the 57.5 comfortably, always in the right spot for Michael Rodd. Brand favourite, attractive odds. Well, they seemingly are now on a Sunday, but she's very good. Chris.
And with all due respect, you didn't want to be on anything else in the run. This always was in control. Terrific ride, terrific horse. Absolutely fabulous. Confirmed one thing to me, even though it got held up there, when it actually goes through, it's in the black running about fifth now.
On the rail.
On the rail, white face. when I looked at the head-on, this hates the running rail on her near side. She needs to come around them, and it was a nice effort too.
I think she's crying out for the outside. Absolutely fabulous.
Yeah.
She's had no luck at all on a couple of occasions now. If she gets into a fast run race at Flemington, she could steam down the outside in a good race. So.
Well, beautifully placed, the winner, I thought. You know, this perfect race for her. She really hasn't done much wrong this preparation. She's been thereabouts, and she's a wonderfully honest mare. So I'm happy to see her win. How many of these will go?
The David Jones Cup, 12 minutes away from start time, but what a performance. Northern Meteor's 1,200 metre track record there at Randwick. By Costa de Lago, Northern Meteor, he broke the Canterbury track record about a week and a half, and that's an impressive.
Annenkov comes up into the race, into the stalls. Muscat has set. New Spice and Sadler's Story have gone up, and now Coalesce and Dilla took a dive. They're off and racing now. Muscat jumped away well down on the inside. Our Smoking Joe easing back at the start. Annenkov was away quickly. Red Lord is up there also. Coalesce is handy as they settle into stride. Bit of a battle for the lead. King Dakar's caught wide. About Face and New Spice going on as they sort out their order now. 50 Kirst on a wide run at the 800. Followed by Mandela Pacino. And then came Our Forest Knight getting up on the inside. Our Smoking Joe. Then came Sadler's Story and King of Ashford. Annenkov moved up at the 600, got a neck in front of King Dakar, New Spice and Coalesce. One Sarah Time hard ridden, then came Muscat getting through between runners from Forest Knight. Borghurst next, and then About Face and Red Lord giving them a fair start, followed by Pacino. Annenkov, King Dakar turning in front of New Spice and Coalesce, then Sarah Time, Borghurst, and behind them is Muscat. Annenkov at big odds, the leader now. Gets down to the 200, 2 lengths in front. Borghurst the big danger, then New Spice, Pacino coming from the back down the outside. Borghurst got to the lead. Pacino and Red Lord are coming late, but Borghurst with a big lead. In fact, he's racing away, and Borghurst went on to score by 2 lengths. Great photo for the miners, but principally Annenkov and Pacino, I'd say, with Red Lord and Our Smoking Joe getting up on the inside next, and then Mandela.
Very good form, this horse, number 2, Borghurst.
Our Smoking Joe and Mandela. There's the div, 7.30, around the $7 mark across the board there. It's a big place divvy. Pacino, $21 plus, some massive dividends here.
That work with Weekend Hustler?
Not bad. We saw maybe better, of course, progress from winning this race 2 years ago to run 3rd in the Melbourne Cup. And he's such a gritty horse. You can't put the pen through him wherever he steps out. Well, he's got to.
It got no favours in the run and still annihilated the opposition there. However, in saying that, I know Pacino can put in a run every now and then, but this covered a lot of ground and still won. I think a lot of those horses have probably been doing a bit too much. Our Smoking Joe was okay. New Spice races a bit too keenly. Yep, that's it.
His record says it all. 33 starts, 9 wins, 16 placings. He's just a genuine good horse. He always puts in. I think that
on track. Diplomatic Force 6 out to 7, more $8. They're the key players at the moment, and there's your total.
Second last race of the day, course the Thai Airways International Sprint, the Group 2. Here's Greg Miles.
1100, they're off and racing. Sunburnt Land out reasonably. Biscayne Bay began fast, and so did Dance the Waves. Morgan Dollar and Red Element away very quickly, and so was Immortality as they settle into stride. Sunburnt Land's gone back, and he's got about 4 or 5 behind him. 800 left to go by Grand Duels. Aichi, Captain back, Sunburnt Land. Diplomatic Force, 3rd from last, coming into it out wide, and they're trailed then by Blanik and Tramontana. Morgan Dollar slips away, 2 or 3 in front of Immortality. Hurried Choice, and then Biscayne Bay hanging as they corner. Red Element pulled to the outside, and then Grand Duels. Diplomatic Force the widest with Sunburnt Land. Morgan Dollar 3 in front down to the 200 from Immortality. Biscayne Bay straightened up, coming home on the inside. Sunburnt Land coming down the outer, but Morgan Dollar well clear with 100 to go. Sunburnt Land coming at him hard now, and Aichi flying through in the middle. Sunburnt Land hit the lead. Sunburnt Land and neck Aichi. Photo 3rd, Biscayne Bay or Morgan Dollar, who walked late, and then Tramontana. Grand Duels, Blanik, who was followed in by Diplomatic Force, Red Element.
See number 3, Sunburnt Land, looming as they came past the clock tower. Morgan Dollar, good job out in front, but the swoopers, you could see, they had the last run at him. Aichi, a good run through. Of course, isn't he, by Scenic out of Razor Blade that won a Winter State.
Certainly satisfied. 6-6.
Oh, look, he's a really good horse, isn't he, by
Morgan Dollar, who walked.
I think he is, Rich. 2 in a row this time in, 4 in a row, 8 of 16. history tells us this horse is invariably won by one of the improving sprinters down in the weights. He carried 56.5 and won it. He's minimum Group 2 horse, maybe even better.
Well, that's his
We're always going to find it very, very difficult.
We're just saying there's another horse, Aichi, that'll go to that, we would think, to the, what was the Ascot Vale. Yep. And that is going to be one hell of a race, because he ran a hell of a race here yesterday. Aichi, as you said, under the weight scale, he did very well. Not up to the class of Sunburnt Land, but boy, it was a very good run, I thought.
Richard,
A national anthem, the jockey introduction before the 2008 Caulfield Cup, and I can tell you, on the tote, $4.60 still for Latorio, and he's the favourite. The Hustler, $6.10, and Master O'Reilly
on edge as we're just 14 minutes away from the 131st Caulfield Cup. Latorio favourite on the tote at $4.60. We look forward to an outstanding race. In the visiting galloper number 7, Mad Rush, they bet as much as $16 into 15. Latorio on track has opened at $4.80, hasn't budged. He is the favourite at the moment for the Caulfield Cup.
Number 1 is, of course, Weekend Hustler, the mighty Weekend Hustler, winner of 7 Group 1s by Hassan. The big question, can he stay the 2400, the mile and a half here to win the Caulfield Cup?
7 Group 1 wins for this horse, Weekend Hustler. He goes to this distance for the first time in his career. He's not won beyond 1800. He carries 57. Only the greats like Citizen and Northerly have managed to carry this sort of weight. Can he do it? We'll find out in about...
It's all happening here, Caroline. The best 3 backed in the race are the number 7, Mad Rush, has been $16 into $11. Sensationally backed here on course. Number 12, Latorio, has been $4.80 into $4.60. And Guillotine has been 13 into 12, back out to 13, but there has been plenty of money for it. Weekend Hustler has been pretty constant. It's been $6.50 out to 7. A little bit friendless at this stage of betting. Master O'Reilly is...
Real estate last week, Guy. What do we do today?
No, I told them this morning on the radio they're going to put the house on today.
Good on you, Ross. Ross McDonald, that's as confident as Ross can be. Caroline?
That is...
Other significant moves, Mad Rush. $16 into $11. 15s into 10s. That's remarkable in a race like this with this much money in the ring. Weekend Hustler's $. Weekend Hustler $7 at the top. Master O'Reilly $6.50 out to $7.50 as we count down to this Caulfield Cup.
Great scenes here, an enormous crowd, and I think a lot of it is to do with the Weekend Hustler, of course. The 7
set racing in the Caulfield Cup. Weekend Hustler began well. Latorio snagged away. Boundless away quickly, so is Fiumicino. Maldivian looking for a position. Guillotine and Barbaricus are going forward. Weekend Hustler led narrowly down to the judge. Guillotine goes up on his outside with Maldivian. Barbaricus deep out was next as they're preparing to turn out of the straight. Then came Boundless, Fiumicino the inside of her, and then Revasan. One further back in the field came Red Ruler, Ice Chariot, and then Dolphin Joe wide from Doro Valley. Latorio is a little further back than midfield. All the gooders around him, and then Mad Rush. Nom de Jour was next. Second last is Viewed, and Master O'Reilly a length and a half away at the tail. Maldivian has the lead. He's about 3/4 clear. Barbaricus racing deep out, getting up to second. Guillotine in the middle. He just tends to over race there. A length and a half away, Weekend Hustler. He's settling down fourth. A length and a half to Revasan. 2 lengths further back in the field, Fiumicino. Boundless next on the outside, and they're followed by Dolphin Joe. Red Ruler midfield on the inside, and then Ice Chariot a length and a half away. Then is Doro Valley, all the good. 1.5. Latorio is about 10 or 12 from the leader, followed by Mad Rush, and then Nom de Jour. Second last is Viewed, and Master O'Reilly. Barbaricus went to the lead, coming along down the side near the 1,000. A length and a half to Revasan to second. Guillotine is now third, and Rawilla's come away from the rail. He's fourth on Weekend Hustler, followed by Maldivian, Dolphin Joe, and then Boundless. Further back is All the Good, commencing a move from Fiumicino, and they're followed by Red Ruler. Latorio starting his run around the outside of Ice Chariot. Master O'Reilly next from Doro Valley. Mad Rush is well back with Nom de Jour, and Viewed as last of all. It's Barbaricus leading down the side. A length and a half now to Weekend Hustler, getting up to second around Revasan and Guillotine. Then Maldivian and Dolphin Joe. Further back is All the Good, and they're followed by Boundless. Latorio hard at it with Master O'Reilly. Coming around the turn, Barbaricus in front. Weekend Hustler up to level
Well with him around the turn, and then Maldivian. All the Good was next, followed by Guillotine, and then came Latorio. It's Barbaricus, a length and a half on Weekend Hustler. Maldivian and All the Good coming down the outside, and Red Ruler threading through on the inside. All the Goods raced up to Barbaricus. Down the outside, Nom de Jour flashing home. All the Good in front though. Racing cleared, Nom de Jour coming home hard, but All the Good 3/4, Nom de Jour, Barbaricus third. Mad Rush flashed home fourth. A real eye catcher for the Melbourne Cup. Then Red Ruler, Latorio, and further back then Master O'Reilly, Viewed, Ice Chariot, Weekend Hustler, Boundless. She's followed then by, behind these, Maldivian, who weakens, and then Guillotine. Further back is Doro Valley, Dolphin Joe, Fiumicino, Riva San is one of the last in the Caulfield Cup, and it is Godolphin who strike down under.
It is Godolphin in the Caulfield Cup 2008. All the Good for Kieran McAvoy. He's a Group 1 winner now, returning to home to run.
6, 19 and 7. All the Good is going to pay you around $47 on Super Tab. Of course, Godolphin breaking through here in this country in one of the majors. They had Beekeeper run the blue. I think he's the horse running about 6th in pitch and out. It's a little hard to tell from my vantage point. Starting to pick them up. Okay, 4th in shot now is the winner, All the Good, picking them up for Kieran McAvoy. Well, he's running away from them at this point. Place getters zooming down the outside, but never looking likely to pick up All the Good, who settled midfield in the run, started to get motoring from about the 1,000, tracked into the race, Melbourne Cup. Time to 27.4 in the Caulfield Cup.
What a run by Mad Rush, you're right, heading towards the Melbourne Cup. What a run, All the Good, 51.90 on the tote. As I said,
19 and 7. We talked about the first 4 2 years ago, paying 400 plus thousand. Well, if my eyesight's not failing me, Caroline, it's 936,120.
A special win for yourself and a big win for your team.
Yeah, fantastic. You know, Godolphin have come out here and won the Queen Elizabeth a couple of times, but placed in the Melbourne Cup. But to win this, such a thrill. You know, to don the blue colours again, and they've been such supporters of mine through the last sort of 6 or 7 years, and yeah, so excited, really thrilled.
This is where first really gave yourself a chance today, Kieran, as you come in here.
Look, I gave myself a good each way chance, and you need a lot of luck, as you know, and had a good spin round there, and he travelled great and picked up really well, so couldn't be more happier.
Great job, well done.
Thanks Bruce. Cheers.
Cup nonetheless in front of 51,000 people. A very warm day and a very fast run. Caulfield Cup, unusually to some degree, it put all of these horses to the test, and the one who rose above it, of course, was All the Good. Great performance for Godolphin. It makes you wonder, doesn't it, as much as I've been a little sceptical about Septimus with 58.5, you know, he's rated Septimus 130 by time form, 122 in the international ratings, and yet All the Good, yesterday's winner, was rated significantly lower, 118 by time form. Maybe Septimus is good enough to win with 58.5.
It's going to be a
Cup. Then Red Ruler, Latorio.
Well, the big odds, All the Good wins for Godolphin, only their 3rd win in Australia, but their first Group 1, of course. Hatharana Fantastic Love winning the Queen Elizabeth in 01 and 04. They'd had 3 previous goes at the Caulfield Cup. Faithful Son 4th, Raz Carla running 16th, and Beekeeper, ridden by Kieran McAvoy that year, running 6th. Here we go, Steve. He got into the right trail, didn't he, here, Kieran? Even though it was 3 wide, he had cover, but was always pressing forward at the right time.
Terrific ride, as it turned out, from about the 1200. He got onto the back of Dolphin Joe in the 3 wide line, had cover, slid into the race without spending any petrol, and at that point pinched a couple of lengths on the likes of Latorio and Doro Valley. At that point also, Mad Rush, inside horses, was being shuffled back to last. Lovely ride, secured the win. He was strong. No reason he can't go on to Flemington and be highly competitive again. Assessing the beaten division, well, I think Nom de Jour was obviously excellent. Mad Rush was terrific. I'm not sure Latorio and Master O'Reilly, Rich, given that Nom de Jour, you know, came from behind them at about the 400 and finished in front of them. Admittedly, Master O'Reilly carried the most weight of those horses.
Exactly right. Look, I've always thought that Latorio is going to be better suited at 2 mile. I'm starting to fall for a little bit of an argument that he might be a 2,000 metre horse and struggles at the 2,400 metres.
Based on, I suppose.
He had 54.5 yesterday because the weights were raised 1.5 kilos. Normally you're looking at 2 to 3 kilos as a penalty. He's on 53 at the moment, so Greg Carpenter to assess that tomorrow, Steve. It will determine what happens with Ryder in the Melbourne Cup.
Well, I agree with your assessment yesterday. I think he's got to get a minimum of 2 kilos off a fairly low base and with a comprehensive Caulfield Cup win. OK, only 11 horses have completed the double, but it's not that uncommon in recent years. We've seen 4 in the last 17, 18 years with, of course, you know, Ethereal, Might and Power, Doremus, Let's Alone. So it's not uncommon to complete the double. You know, 10 of the past 17 or 18 winners have come through the Caulfield Cup, and he was pretty solid winning yesterday.
Richard's on the race, and we'll pinpoint him Mad Rush. I think it's a better run than Purple Moon's last year. He just gets shuffled back in sort of maroon colours they are, Steve.
Well, I think he's probably last as we pick it up there. He's inside, so he's probably second last, I think, is the horse we're trying to pick up. Yep.
So watch for him as he manoeuvres through here and gets a bit of a bumping duel along the way. And we'll get to Wally shortly as you look for the runs on the outside. Master O'Reilly, Nom de Jeu, one from the outside going forward, chasing the winner, getting past Latorio there. That's Richie's concern. Red Ruler okay up the fence too.
Yeah, a good performance from Red Ruler, but that's Mad Rush in those maroon colours with the gold, and he finished the race off very, very strongly. Went to the line probably better than anything in the race, in my view.
Chad too to assess Weekend Hustler, because he's copped a lot of flack since yesterday, not deserved for mine. Here is Jeff Lloyd about Nom de Jeu.
He had a bad barrier, but probably worked out all right in the end. Got on the back of Latorio. The horse thought I'd probably end up, if things were going well, you know, to be behind. And got a good run through. He pulled out, and I got out with him, and he got home good. Going probably a little bit firm for him. I think he prefers a better cut in the ground. It was a good effort.
Looking forward to the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, it's a nice start for him, and hopefully he can come on from this.
Yeah, it wasn't ideal to be out there, but he kept rolling forward and relaxed really well, and to the horse's credit, he held on super.
Getting down the side there, I wanted to get it on the back of Latorio, but I had that big Nom de Jeu outside me, and he's twice the size of my bloke, and I couldn't get on the back of him, so I had to come back and ride for luck, and you know, he really rocketed home up the straight. He finished off better than anything, I thought.
Probably gone better than Purple Moon, and a shade of Faithful Sun in that performance from a Caulfield Cup past.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, he got probably a bit more room than Purple Moon, and finished off great, but very similar run to Faithful Sun when I rode him in the Cup.
You know, today we sort of got back and he relaxed beautiful and sort of tapped on the winner, getting towards a turn, just sort of left me flat-footed. And you know, thinking, you know, getting back to a big track like Flemington, he should hopefully get his form back.
You're happy enough with the run you had and the performance coming out of it?
Oh, look, you're always disappointed when horses come from behind you and beat you. That's a disappointing thing. I was hoping to sort of, you know, hold me line at least, but you know, I'm not going to assess it too much today. We'll just get away from today and have a look at the race a few times and press on.
I had a perfect run in transit, Bruce. Popped him off to be 2 or 3 off. Dove back to the inside just after straightening. I thought I was going to run right into it. He just lacked that little bit of turn of foot that he generally has over in New Zealand. But no, he ran really well.
Yeah, he felt the ground a bit today, Bruce. Track's pretty firm out there.
The run went perfect, and couldn't have been happier each stage of the race. Every time something little happened, the Weekend Hustler that he is, we were able to do what we needed to do straight away, and we were in the right position pretty much all the way through, I felt. Down the side, was happy to sort of edge it and make sure that we could build up through his gears, which is in the past has seen him in good stead. And yeah, we hadn't fully turned straightened yet, and we were going to be struggling. And it's a shame to come this far and to find out today. I can take the blame for not getting the guide that we wanted in the Turnbull, but you know, I was full of confidence that he would be able to do it today, and you know, we've been found out, but he'll be back. There's much more to come.
Well, plenty circling to knock the Hustler. Not for mine. You've got to say what a mighty job Ross McDonald and Mark McDonald-Clinton have done with this horse this spring. They set themselves up for a fall. They fell, and they were the first to put their hands up to say, we got it wrong. Rich and I go with him. We go down for the fall with him. So be it. But he's Australia's champion racehorse. He's won 7 Group 1s. And more people were at Caulfield yesterday to see him than any other horse. Rich?
Most definitely. I've never known a horse do, but next preparation, he'll win everything from 1100 to 1600.
There's a pretty good race in Dubai for him, you would think, Steve?
I would have thought so, Bruce. The duty-free at the 1770 metres you'd think would be ideal. I certainly wouldn't give up on Weekend Hustler, even up to 10 furlongs, 2,000 metres. Certainly not at a mile and a half. But he was obviously had a torrid run when he ran in the Turnbull yesterday, failed to stay. Ross McPaddock.
And a horse we haven't mentioned we should give full credit to yesterday was Barbaricus, a mighty third, astonishing run. Barbaricus.
Oh, fantastic, and good luck to Tim Rourke and his mates. $200,000 for running for third. You've got to win a pretty darn good race to collect $200,000. And if we take it at face value, look, I know he had 52, but of the first 8 home in the Caulfield Cup, 7 of them came from beyond midfield. He was the only on-pacer to tough it out. Just a super performance.
Your mate Mike. Here's the Melbourne Cup market, though, and it truly looks international, doesn't it? Septimus Fern by not running yesterday. Efficient Rock Solid at $7 because he does... What's he doing? I don't know what he's doing. We never see him. Mad Rush, $7 in yesterday. All the good, 34 into 9. Nom de Jeu, Big Firma also. Latorio and Easa, Master O'Reilly Ditto. Profound Beauty, perhaps controversial circumstances. Look, it's either efficient for Aussies or it's got to go either New Zealand or, more likely, Europe.
Well, it looks that way at the moment, doesn't it? $34 Yellowstone, that might be reasonably appealing too, given his very good performance behind All the Good from gate 19. And
Plate Son's weekend hustler now, I expect to be so. Are there going to be some left fielders come in here in the last few days? Well, they've got to be in by Tuesday morning, of course. Princess Cope, favourite, 320 over Samantha Miss, who worked brilliantly yesterday morning at Moonee Valley. Weekend hustler.
Did you back the winner?
A little bit on the winner. I'm a sucker for the European long shots, and congratulations to Godolphin. They've been trying for 10 years, and they probably deserve to win a big one. Oh, I don't know how an Australasian horse can run a place in the Melbourne Cup after yesterday. So it looks like all the imports to me. And
really good days racing across the country. Ronnie's right. Those European horses. Does this smell like the Japanese invasion? They finished about the same positions and, you know, very similar positions in the Caulfield Cup when they came out and blitzed our horses in the Melbourne Cup. There's no doubt in my mind that a European horse is going to start favourite in the Melbourne Cup. And this year, they just look better than our horses. They just do.
Well, we have a special guest in the studio from Godolphin, and I refer to Diana Cooper. Diana, good morning.
Is that his chance of getting a jacket there?
Oh, I see.
Haven't you jumped
on the Royal Blue? Don't worry about all these local stayers. They got absolutely no hope. The big Blues in town, Diana.
We're happy to. We're shouting him home, but he's given us a hell of a result there today. Yesterday.
Is this a total surprise to the Godolphins team that this horse has won a Caulfield Cup like this?
No, what we were looking for yesterday was a really good progressive run to put him in the market, perhaps for the Melbourne Cup. We knew he'd run well. How well, it's always difficult to gauge when you're sitting in Newmarket looking at the form over here. We know about Mad Rush, we know about the other horses in the Melbourne Cup, but this was definitely it was definitely a race to be to go into with high hopes.
Yeah, no. Amongst those that they haven't brought out here, I'm told that in the English press that this is probably the worst of the bunch that they brought out here, yet it's won so convincingly.
Well, one thing in our favour is that it's a handicap, and we have to rely on the international handicappers to tell us where, what's what and which horses we should be bringing. This horse he won the Newburgh handicap, which was the replacement Ebo handicap, which is a 13 furlong race that has often been used in the past by English raiders to come down here. He won that very convincingly, and he was fresh. He'd had the winter off, having had several runs last year, and the profile just seemed to fit us.
Nom de Jeu was fantastic. He
Frank the form of Princess Coup.
He certainly did. He had to be snagged from that outside barrier, and he pulled when the pace steadied in the mid stages. So to finish off for a horse that's had a bit of a rough blood count since he's arrived here, it's all upside heading towards the Cup for Nom de Jeu, and we know 3 of his 4 wins have been on wet tracks. So wet or dry, he's hit here with timing. So he could be one of the best Australasian hopes. We'll call him an Australasian now.
Barbaricus ran out of his skin.
Well, he just looked like one of them Coolmore pacemakers up there in front with the Danny O'Brien. We had the 2 backmarkers in the race. He kept going.
What about the other European horse?
Well, Purple Moon was just unreal.
No, that was last year.
I'm sorry, Mad Rush. Mad Rush was unreal. He got back and he got held up at a terrible stage of the race where you want momentum on the...
Jeez, he finished off well. He was the flashing light, wasn't he?
He certainly was.
And weekend hustler?
Well, the writing was on the wall last time. He can't stay, and unfortunately...
They realise that now, so
look,
that's... Sure.
He's probably the best horse in the country up to 1,600 metres, and I don't have any hesitation in saying he is the best horse in the country up to 1,600 metres, I think. But beyond that, well... You and I, Ronnie, have always been suspicious of it. I don't think the boys in Melbourne were too suspicious. They were convinced he would run the 2,400 metres.
I don't think we were convinced, Richard.
Not
you
now.
say that now. But I can honestly say to you, it's all right for you to go whackety whack this morning on Weekend Hustler. He's still a very, very good horse. He's probably a champion up to a mile. And
That's
I reckon
what you
there's
said.
probably a horse or two that have gone through the Freedman stable that you've tested up to these distances that have failed through the years.
And it probably just goes to show, Richard, you don't watch inside racing when we leave him out of our top 4 selections as well. And you obviously don't read the Herald Sun.
Look, I have to get the tapes out.
Well, you obviously have to, because none of us have actually said anything about the 2400 with him, and we all left him out of our top selections. Irrespective, let's not dwell on that. The horse is an absolute superstar, up to a journey. However, you've got to run them over a certain journey to find out whether they can run it. Remember that, and I think you've been guilty of that in the past. However, Boundless found untold trouble throughout the run after being approximately midfield. I was hoping Damien on Mad Rush had got off the fence to perhaps try and track Latorio at about the 1800 and get out 3 deep with a little bit of cover, because I think it's just showing that the international horses, they genuinely like a little bit of room. He was super. Look, he thinks so.
No. Princess Cope is at $3.50. Samantha Miss $4. Zipping Alamosa, Nom de Jeu, Ratoria. Where is?
Ronnie, do you want to be on Samantha Miss at $4?
No, because I'm on at $26.
Yes.
I know. And I'm happy to be on at $26.
You don't want to load up again.
I think it's deserved favourite, Princess Cope. She's hard to beat. The only other hope I can see is not even in the market. There's Cessio.
He's a tough horse.
Hey, Ronnie.
Favourite with Septimus and Deficient. Can you tell me anything about Profound Beauty?
Back on song for the Cup.
And looking at that market too, I tell you what, look, I don't think he can win, but his run was still okay, Master O'Reilly. I thought he was battling away okay.
He was. He was getting the line as well as anything else behind the winner.
Well,
Hope and Samantha Miss heavily backed to win the race following a bizarre barrier draw at Moonee Valley this morning. In a first for the Spring Carnival, Connections were given a major say in just which barrier their horse would start from.
It looked like any normal barrier draw, but once selected, for the first time ever, Connections of each of the 12 runners were able to choose the gate they wanted their horse to start from. The concept had script. Trainer Mark Kavanagh went missing in action. He was eventually tracked down and selected gate 6 for Maldivian.
Yeah, I hope my horse isn't as late as that on Saturday.
Newcastle trainer Chris Lees.
Amy Victoria Derby. Petstock Geelong Cup coming up. There's a massive crowd in the mounting yard here. There's probably as been betting for some time on it. From the top, Light Vision's around $5, $4.40 out to $5. Bauer, very easy on course, $3.80 out to $5.50. Guy, shortest of Moatees, $7.50 out to $10.
Checked his pedigree. 2,000 would be his limit, I'd say. I think he races to me like a pretty handy sprinter miler.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be happy. I'm not unhappy what he gets him into this.
2 days. And now
lights are on and they're racing in the Cup. Gyno near the inside away fairly well. Moatees didn't jump too flash, and Zarveet going up looking for the front, headed by Britomart. Foolish Lad showing good speed. Dan Dart's going forward, and Light Vision in the whitish colours, the widest runner. It's Britomart in front, rolling down to the post the first time. Dan Dart going on, Zarveet the centre, and Light Vision's caught wide. Don't know how he's going to get in there. Back in behind runners then as they settle is Foolish Lad going up Gyno. They were followed by Bauer. He's caught a little wide from Moatees as they go out of the straight. Ollie Half came out on Bauer wanting to go, but he pulled back in 3 wide. Moatees on the fence, a length glistening, Chantel Sally. They were followed by the Wolverine, Magic Instinct, Fast Ruler, Up Jude, and Banana Man last of all in the Cup. At the 900 metres mark, Zarveet for Nashra Willer in front. The big Girlingster slowed up and quickly got outside the speed. On the rail is Britomart from Light Vision, Dan Dad wide. He's going forward, Dan Dart on the outside. Gyno's pocketed on the rail. They were followed by Moatees, and now Bauer coming out. Starting its run, Get Up Jude from the back, a length glistening. On the rail, the Wolverine, Foolish Lad shuffle back from Magic Instinct, Chantel Sally, Banana Man on the fence, and last of all, Fast Ruler. Inkster went up to Britomart, coming around the bend to Zarveet to hit the lead. Wider out Bauer, he's come with a cracking run, the UK horse, and Bauer quickly took the lead. Light Vision trying to go with him. Further out Moatees, Magic Instinct, and right down the outside Chantel Sally. Ollie's going for another media type victory here on Bauer. He leads the way, Magic Instinct, and on the outside Moatees. Bauer in front, and Ollie's going to win the Cup. Bauer goes home and wins it a length. Second, Moatee's Magic Instinct, a great third. Light Vision held on well. They were followed by Gyno, the Wolverine, Chantel Sally, Zarveet, Banana Man, and the others run away from our view. But Damien Oliver, can he produce another media puzzle?
I think he can, Terry. This horse now will qualify for the Melbourne Cup. It'll get the 1 kilo penalty that it needs to do to get into the race. It has 8.5 kilos underweight for age at the moment. 3 wide most of the way, but did have cover, and the staying prowess showed in the final 400 metres there. A confident ride by Oliver. It was shades of media puzzle.
Well, after that, it's such a relief, and he just ran such a good race, and to win now means he's guaranteed to start, and well, I hope so with the penalty, and just such a thrill. Yes. One in the team.
Now we've seen them both here. Mad Rush was terrific and unlucky on Saturday. We've seen this horse win today. Where do they both line up against each other now?
Well, how do they rate against each other? Good question. I guess we'll have to wait and see in the Cup.
What are you going to do about a rider? I mean, I presume Damien's committed to Mad Rush.
Yes, and I think Bar would have quite a light weight, so we'll have to talk to the owners and see what they say.
Francesca.
Thank you very much.
Francesca Kamani here for Luca Kamani. Luca arrives tomorrow in town, Shane, and I think that'll relieve a lot of pressure off Francesca, but she's handled it all so well.
She has indeed, and they've got 2 runners in the Cup now. We're talking about comparisons to Media Puzzle, which is obviously always going to be in the picture. If you
feel for both of these Kamani horses now, Cups-wise, what's your opinion of both?
Yeah, look, I think they'll both run great races. They're very good stayers, and you know they've been well placed and well looked after coming into the Australian campaign. So I expect them both to run really well.
The obvious question would be
run really well.
The obvious question would be compared to Media Puzzle the year he won here. Is there any way you can do that?
He probably wasn't quite as impressive as Media Puzzle, but you know he was just in rare form that year. He came out, he killed them in the Geelong Cup, but take nothing away from this bloke. It was still a very good effort, and you know they're going to know he's there in the Cup for sure.
Book for the ride now in the Melbourne Cup.
Well, when you take Bauer, I don't think Bauer could probably beat Septimus and all the good, but I tell you what, he'll beat Nelly all of the Australian horses.
Yeah, it's terrific.
So does it qualify for the Cup?
I'm not sure whether that qualifies.
Helps
it helps him. He gets a kilo penalty, but it'll help him get in. But he's out here as the chopping block for the stable, mate. And I'm telling you, at the 800 metre mark, Damien had kept the horse 3 deep, and deliberately so, because he had an opportunity to get in, didn't want to. And
I don't know whether it was deliberate.
Oh, I think it was, and he wanted to give the horse room. And he had cover in front of him, so he was in no problem whatsoever to do that. And he just, when it got to there, I thought, well, if this horse beats our horses, they are just better than us. And
their staying ability, Richard, is superior to ours. There's no question about that.
Not this race, but the following race, the Schweppes Stakes, or the Moir, as it's known, on
$4.40 out to $4.60, back to $4.40. Lucky Secret there is $4.80 out to $5 on track, out to $8.50, and Belmare, who is $5 out to $6.50 in the
second favourite. He won the Manicato here in September. There's only been 3 horses complete that double. Away they go. And Skidoo Peak, the one that missed at a length. Away very quickly here, Lucky Secret from Typhoon Z. Monet Rules and Belmere will settle down 4th with chairman of the board deeper out. A length and a half, Mr. Baritone getting up on the inside draw. It's Lucky Secret leading from chairman of the board, who kicked on around the 800 turn and ran to the lead. A length Typhoon Z 3rd, followed by Monet Rules 4th on the inside, 1 to Belmere. 1 further back, Mr. Baritone, and then came the Grey Morgan Dollar. Skidoo Peak 2 lengths away, trailed by Vormista 3D, about 10 from the leader, and 2 to Cosinero. Chairman of the board about a neck in front of Lucky Secret, again railing through and joining and heading him. 1.5 Monet Rules scrubbed up inside Typhoon Z. Belmere about to let down with her run, and they were followed by Mr. Baritone and Morgan Dollar. It's Lucky Secret kicking around the home turn. Had the measure of chairman of the board. Belmere and Typhoon Z are running on fairly well. Lucky Secret is away and gone though. Belmere running on strongly down the outside, but Lucky Secret strong to the line today. Won it by 2 lengths to Belmere or Mr. Baritone. Photos there. Monet Rules, I reckon he'll hold the 4th. Cosinero got home when it was all over. Chairman of the board, Morgan Dollar. Skidoo Peak, 3D didn't come on. Vormista towards the end, and Typhoon Z dropped out, and he's about last over the line.
He's now 5 out of 6 at Moonee Valley. Number 4, Lucky Secret, doing it easily for Tony Vassell and Dan Brereton.
The numbers, Moonee Valley, race 5, and the winner is by Rubiton out of one.
There, Monet Rules, I reckon he'll hold the 4.
The best of Lucky Secret there yesterday. Dan Burton has been at this, saying this is the best sprinter he has ridden, and he confirmed it yesterday, running a slick time from start to finish. Got the sectionals right, basically even split, Steve.
Yeah, it was out in 35, one home in 34.8, and he was too quick on a surface that suits him. He's had joint problems, he's a bleeder, of course. And Tony has done a terrific job with this horse, Lucky Secret. Life in Z pulled up sore, and Mr. Baritone was pretty good. There'll be a race for him somewhere soon, particularly.
And it does make you work that little bit harder with him. But look, full credit to him. He does love the Valley. He's a very, very serious galloper as far as I'm concerned. He runs good time. Bill Murr, as honest as the day is long, love her. Mr. Baritone starting to get on track. And if he runs into a track over the carnival that's just got a little bit of sting in it, and mentioned a bit of water around, I tell you what, he can feature in another good race.
Yeah, agree. Very well judged ride by Dan. I think the 1200 tempo suits this horse better than the 1,000-metre pressure. We know he's had a bleed in the past, and the pressure of the 1,000 can get to him, where this he can get into his gate and travel, and Danny knows him well. We all know that, and he proved it yesterday. He's just too good for that lot.
This year. We're not far away from one of the highlights of the day. This is the Amy Vars, of course, the 3-year-olds. Who Got You won the Caulfield Guineas in such dominant fashion. He's $1.40 on Super Tap. In fact, across...
OK, Who Got You here on track is $1.40 to $1.45. This was $1.55 pre-pose. We had a good client have 100,000 at $1.55. It's getting back to that price now. It's been $1.40 out to $1.50. And well, in this year's race, Maldivian is probably the one bona fide Moonee Valley horse. He's twice a winner this track and trip, and I think there's a little degree of confidence with Mark Kavanagh.
Looking at his hot pot here, Who Got You, as you mentioned, talking about the pedigree streets for the 3-year-olds, the Group 2. Let's go to Greg Miles for the call.
Racing now. Walker began awkwardly. Who Got You jump well. He'll ease back, and Sousa straight out looking for the lead early. Buffett in for Bonaparte jump well. Orchard's recovering quickly. Carnero's going forward. He's right up on the pace. And Sousa leads down to the judge. 1.5 lengths in front. It's Sousa, dual hemisphere. 2 lengths Who Got You, and about 2 or 3 lengths to Minnesota Shark. Well, there's no doubting what's in Karen McAvoy's mind. He's going to try and run them off their legs. And it's Sousa out in front, leading in a very fast run race. He's going in. They put the 1,000 metres astern, and it's Sousa out by still that margin. A touch over 2 lengths Carnero, 2 lengths to Walker, 3 lengths to Buffett. A length further back Emperor Bonaparte as they go to the 800. Dual hemisphere followed by Street Sensation. Rod still happy to ride the quiet race here on Who Got You. It's 1.5 lengths second last, and Minnesota Shark at the tail of the field. So up the side, and Sousa 1.5 lengths Walker Carnero, 2 lengths further back Buffett. They're followed further back Street Sensation, commencing his move around Emperor Bonaparte. Rod just having a look for the go button. He eases out on Who Got You, and he really does make up the ground rapidly. He rides him along. He's 2 lengths off the lead. Sousa from Walker. Buffett trying to make a line of 3. Who Got You has them all in his sights as he loops around the outside now into the straight, and here's Who Got You about to let down with his run. Buffett tries to go with him, then Orca. Sousa spent his lollies, but it's Who Got You in front. He's got the better of them, and away he goes. Who Got You by 1.5 lengths to Buffett. Orca stayed on strongly for 3rd. Carnero ran 4th. Sousa ran 5th, but well, he was never going to die wondering. Then Emperor Bonaparte, Dual Hemisphere, Street Sensation, and Minnesota Shark just battled. He was last all of the way.
Who Got You gets them all again. This horse, he's a dominant 3-year-old. He's won the Caulfield Guineas. You could see when Michael Rod pulled him out, just the acceleration, as Greg Miles noted, as he came.
Yeah, he's a good horse, this one. Finally agreeing with all the hype. Well, I'm not going to agree with a lot of that, but, you know, that was a pretty good win. You've made the right decision? Oh, I have now, haven't I? Well, you've won this. I mean, only time will tell, but you were very adamant you weren't going to be tempted with the Cox Plate.
Oh, well, if he was going to win the Cox Plate, he should have won this by 5, shouldn't he?
Well, so
who knows?
There's a real X factor about him that you really don't know where the bottom is.
We haven't got there yet.
It's scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you like being scared?
I love it.
Good on you, Mark. Well done.
Thanks.
Mark Kavanagh, the trainer of this star. Who Got You?
Sorry, these great scenes here with Mark Kavanagh. You can see the relief. He was just so, just pumped up and really.
And, you know, the pace was pretty genuine today, and just sat back, and they packed up at about the 700. There's only a couple of lengths off them there, and, you know, don't want to sound too arrogant, but it was all over.
He thinks absolute ease.
He certainly did. The record time posted in this race is efficient, 25.2. Well, Hubagotchi runs 25.3 here this afternoon. Outstanding performance.
It might just be a little bit harder for him to get up there, but I wish I hadn't stick in the left hand. He would have won by further.
It's amazing that you talk about the arrogance with where you can ride him. Does that give you a measure of how far he can possibly go?
It does, Bruce. I mean, I didn't have to be that far back today. He began really well, which is something he doesn't normally do. I could have been a bit closer, but I just wanted to make sure I didn't have a horse near me or around me, just to give him a nice passage into the race. But yeah, the sky's the limit for him, it looks like it.
So ran fifth, but well, he was never going to...
Well, if they bet Andy Post now, it'd be next year's favourite for the Tats Cox Plate. He was favourite for the Amy Vars at Tucson yesterday. He's odds-on favourite for the Amy Victoria Derby next week. And realistically, they are no chance of beating him if that game turns up again tomorrow, on next Saturday. Is that right?
Hope you're right. Hope you're right.
Even you must have been taken aback yesterday. That was awesome again from this horse.
It was. He continues to surprise me. Thought Buffett ran pretty good, but he does continue to surprise me. He's a really smart horse.
What's he like around? Use the word big brown. $1.75. Have a look at the ones chasing here.
I think it's good odds, Bruce.
So do I. My Scots Grey was okay down at Geelong during the week with the Tiger. I don't know. Buffett at $17 and looks overs compared to the ones above.
Is that Sean Ritchie's horse, My Scots Grey?
Yeah. I suppose the key is, as you keep saying, you don't know where the bottom of him is. You've never had to really stretch him to find out how good he is.
Well, that's right. And, you know, who knows, another 12 months or whatever, him and Buffett might be going to the line in one of the cups, you know.
Pretty awesome stuff, though, wasn't it? When we make the comparison with Efficient, runs virtually the same time, which is rarely matched in this race, the Vars. I thought the other comparison was probably the arrogance of the ride, which reminded me a bit of P. Harvey on Plastered when he came here to the Vars and stepped out and rode it even more arrogantly in the Derby and got the money. So I think history tells us that this is a pretty good horse, Hubagotchi.
Can he be beaten?
Smart man, Mark Kavanagh.
He will win the Derby, that horse, and he will win the Derby with a leg in the air, and that is the truest thing Mark has ever said when he said green 3-year-olds do not beat these tough older horses in a race like the Cox Plate. He is so right. I know it's happened, and you get the odd 3-year-old colt doing it. And but I
think Richard's right. This horse still does do things wrong, and I don't think tactically he's quite up to it either. But he's very good for the 3-year-olds. He's far, far superior than them. Look, it was a good performance, and time. This is where times and sectionals don't really tell you a lot. He ran very, very fast time, set up by a fast speed. He finished off very well. But if he wanted to hang in like that as he was working up to horses in a Cox Plate, believe me, he'd have struggled past him, and it doesn't. He's just not seasoned, old enough, and they don't regulate themselves as well as the older horses, and I think that's been evident over the years. But he's got this flying. Orca was good, Buffett okay, Carnero...
I do. I think he will.
Okay, look, I think he'll win the Derby as well, and I think you explained that very well about the tempo too, Alf. I can't believe I've had 4 people saying, oh, he would have won the Cox Plate. Didn't you see the time? Well, my answer to them is Orca would have won the Cox Plate. Orca, the maiden.
Exactly.
You are absolutely right.
I can't believe that.
Because he didn't make the time. Sousa made the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Each time it goes to the track, Sousa goes for a spell it wasn't even paid up for last week in the Derby. He's got to beat horses like Preeminence, Larry's Never Late, Paddy O'Reilly.
So I think that
be betting on the margin.
Fill in behind him. Sorry?
I want to be betting on the margin, not on the result.
$1.75 is what its quote is at the moment to win the Derby.
Can you get a better price about a 4-length win and a 6-length win? You know, can someone set me a price on that?
We can set you a price on anything,
I know
Richard.
someone who can.
Yes, Caroline, 13 minutes away from the Moonee Valley Cup. At the top, Newport, $16 on Super Tab. That's on course. Number 2, Ice Chariot, $4.60 out to 5. Borghurst steady at $5. Red Lord 10 to 11. Gallopin $6 to $6.50. Down to Reaver Sand $9.50 out to 10. And number 13 Largo Lad is a $6 chance here on track.
$4 into $4.60 as you heard. Gallopin $6.50. Now Jamie Mott's just climbed off Borghurst. We'll see if we can get a shot and see whether it's a gear issue or whether there's something more to it. But you can see the horse in the background just walking on.
Cathay Pacific Airways Cup, and they're off and racing. Dictator a little slow to move out of the stalls. Largo Lad easing back in the early part. Borghurst to jump well. He's settling down with about 5 in front of him in the early stages. You Beautiful Doll is going on to find the lead in the early part of it, ahead of But Wait There's More, who's on the rails second, and then Gallopin. Borghurst on the outside of these from First Militia, the Sportsman. They're trailed then by But Wait There's More. 3/4 First Militia. 2 lengths to Borghurst, had the ideal run under Mott. Followed then by Reva Sand, a length and a half Gallopin. Then came Newport, Ice Chariot, now being niggled at by Oliver. 3 lengths Causeway Queen, Honours Earned, Dictator, Red Lord second last, and Largo Lad. You Beautiful Doll leads up the side now. Moving up on the outside, the Sportsman and First Militia. Borghurst still waiting and waiting, only 2 or 3 off. Followed by But Wait There's More, Gallopin. Here's Ice Chariot coming, and then Newport, Reva Sand to the turn. First Militia got to the lead with the Sportsman, Borghurst the outside. Gallopin running on, and so is Ice Chariot. And then came Red Lord, cornering First Militia, tackled by Borghurst. Then Gallopin, Ice Chariot the widest. Into the straight now, Borghurst hits the lead from First Militia, and then Gallopin and Ice Chariot. Borghurst in front, Gallopin coming after him. It's Borghurst tackled by Gallopin. Gallopin and Borghurst down to the line, they hit it, and Gallopin wanted a nose to Borghurst. Photo third, Ice Chariot or Newport from First Militia, Red Lord. Then Largo Lad behind those to finish in the race was You Beautiful Doll, the Sportsman, Reva Sand, But Wait There's More, Honours Earned, and at the end Dictator and Causeway Queen.
Gallopin for James Winkson. Dan O'Brien has taken out the Cathay Pacific Airways Cup. Watching Dan through the race, he remained remarkably composed. Just a
belief for them, and probably for you too, Danny.
Yeah, look, I don't think I've ever been as confident going into a big race as we were today. You know, the horses had a good preparation. Probably on a dry track, he wins the Metrop. His work since his comeback's been sensational, and not at all surprised that he's won today.
So why did you say you were so confident going into this?
Oh, I just got a really good opinion of this horse as a stayer. You know, his only other mile-and-a-half run was the Bagot and the Metrop on a wet track, and when he gets out to these sort of distances, he's a very good horse.
Into the Melbourne Cup now for you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, hopefully he gets a kilo penalty, which will guarantee him a start, and yeah, that's been his aim all along. Obviously, we're stepping into probably the strongest Melbourne Cup that I've seen, but he's had a right prep for it. We've had him aim for it for a year, and he'll give a good account.
You're going to have 3 runners in a Cup?
Yeah, possibly. You know, obviously Barbaricus will probably run in it, and Master O'Reilly, so it'd be nice to have 3. It'd be nice to have 24, though.
Danny, when you say you've been up,
so he's never ever far away, and that's going to be a really interesting mix in the Melbourne Cup.
6, 3, 2 and 10 the numbers on the Moonee Valley Cup. The winner Gallopin $9. On track he was $6 out to 7. Again a very fast gallop, 2:36.5.
Well, Tower made at Flemington with Mark Kavanagh as Danny O'Brien, who's worked hard also to get 3 horses into the Melbourne Cup Gallop and got a 1 kilo penalty off that. We'll get the order of entry with Steve shortly. Borghurst brave again, Ice Chariot running on again.
He's still a young bloke coming through, but you know, he's got horses all over the park, and these stayers he's done a marvellous job with.
I suppose yesterday was that Ice Chariot, who ran so nicely in the Caulfield Cup, was very good yesterday, and we saw 4 or 5 other horses who were so much better than Ice Chariot in the Caulfield Cup, so that would look to me to be the key form reference at the moment.
Will he get in? His number?
Tough campaign.
Yeah, the key with Gallopin is the dry track. I don't think he's been handling wet tracks, and he's back on top of the ground and showed his real form. Danny's very upbeat about him, and when Danny speaks highly of a horse like that, you must listen. Borghurst was beautifully ridden from barrier 10, 1 out and sort of 2 back there. Just may have found the front too soon again.
Yeah, but that's only because he probably is suspect at the distance.
And what about Buffett out the back here? Largo Lad. He is a Buffett.
No, you know what? I think Gallopin is an each-way chance in a Melbourne Cup because he'll simply stick the trip and he quite likes the course, and I can't have any of the others that finish behind him, except perhaps for an old grinding stayer like Newport, who's, who might just, if he makes it in the Melbourne Cup with a lightweight, just grind away into a place or something. But really, if they strike those Europeans in good form, they're fighting out the minor placings.
Would Largo Lad go out in the sale? Yeah?
Well, he probably will to try and qualify for the Melbourne Cup. He didn't ride him any good, but still, he's a pack chaser.
How do you ride him?
Yeah, I know. How do you ride him?
David Hayes was still a bit miffed about the ride even this morning, in fairness to...
Bad luck can stop his champion filly, Samantha Miss, creating history in Saturday's Cox Plate.
Only one other 3-year-old filly has won the Weight for Age Classic, but Lee's remains...
I think the race will be running at a good even clip, and a bit of luck in running is all it takes.
She'll need more than just luck, according to legendary trainer Bart Cummings.
She's a champion in her own age group. I don't know if she'll step up to the plate for a mile and a quarter open company. It'll be a nice race to do it in.
Mark Kavanagh is banking on a change of training tactics to get Moldavian over the line.
He actually jumped a few hurdles yesterday and relished the thought of that, so that sometimes gets him back concentrating.
Cope and Samantha Miss remain at the top of Cox Plate betting, but both girls have eased in the market amid a flurry of money for Moldavian. For the latest...
$3.80 each of two, but Princess Cope and Samantha Miss a little bit easier in the market. Zipping's the one they've come for, $9 into $8.50 and then into $8, so good money there. Alamosa just a little bit easy, $11 out to $12. This is where the money has been. Moldavian, $17 after the barrier draw on Tuesday, into $14 in today, a bet of $10,000 at $14 to collect $140,000, and Moldavian is the one that they've come for. Solid support there. Thessio from Sydney at $14 and solid. Sermione, Ken Bart win another Group 1 race at $14 there for Sermione. Master O'Reilly has been solid at round about the $23 mark all through betting. Bit of money for Sailor Gurr, 26 into 23, so another one that they've had a little bit of a go at. Zarita's eased in the market from...
Introduction before the 2008, the $3 million Tattersalls Cox Plate, and on course Princess Cope is $460, but Samantha Miss the favourite, $440, Steve.
She is here, yes, Samantha Miss at Moonee Valley, 15 minutes away from the Cox Plate. She's $4 out to $440. Princess Cope on track is $440 to $460, and the only other horses at single figure odds are Zipping at 6 to 1 and Moldavian at 9 to 1. 10 different.
Moldavian has been solid at $12, but the pre-post market had it $15 not that long ago. Zipping at $7, probably the best back this morning. It's been solid on course here today, but in the office this morning it's probably $10 into about $7. Master O'Reilly's the best backed here on course. It's been $7 into $15. It has been $440 out to $480, laying it very, very heavily in the office. And Samantha Miss has been $4 out to $4.60, equally.
And Glenn Boss too. He looked pretty good too going out there on Samantha Miss. She had a couple of handlers as she went out, but she seems to have settled down. Alamosa too, of course, he's a stallion. Rahib, another stallion. They were all pretty relaxed here.
Stalls, they're set. Racing. Samantha Miss jumped away, one of the first out. Moldavian, Zarita both got away well. There's Thesio fired out of the barrier stalls. And also Rahib, but Thesio crossed down with Moldavian on his inside. They lead down to the judge. 2 lengths Rahib, 2 lengths away then Samantha Miss. She settles fourth outside Zarita. A length and a half Gallant Tess and then Sailor Gear. Back behind him the stablemate is Zipping 2 lengths away. 1 to Alamosa, 1 Sermione, 1 Princess Cope, and Master O'Reilly is last of all. It's Moldavian the leader, 3/4. Thesio fired right up as they run up the side, and they've gone out 3 to 4 lengths. Rahib the bolter is holding third. Samantha Miss is fourth. Zarita fifth on the inside, then Gallant Tess. Sailor Gear a little bit worse in midfield down on the inside, followed by Zipping Alamosa and then Sermione. He's being followed Princess Cope second last on the fence, and Master O'Reilly brings up the rear. 1100 to go. They're not going all that hard. Moldavian by a length and a half. Thesio settled a bit better. 2 lengths to Rahib, 2 lengths away Samantha Miss. 1.5 further back at the 1,000 came Zarita, and then Gallant Tess, 1 Sailor Gear, 1 to Zipping, Alamosa the rail, 1 Sermione, and then came Princess Cope second last on the inside, and Master O'Reilly. 10 covered them, 800 left to go, and Moldavian by a length and a half. Thesio second. There's Zipping on an early move. He's gone up third, followed Zarita, Rahib under pressure. Next Samantha Miss, Sermione coming on out wide from Gallant Tess, Sailor Gear, Alamosa, then Master O'Reilly, and Princess Cope is back last. Less than 600 to go now. Moldavian headed by Thesio, Zipping on the outside. Rahib coming back in the middle, a line of 4. A length and a half Samantha Miss, who's running onto the outside, and then Zarita and Alamosa swinging for home. Again Moldavian finds the lead from Thesio, Rahib, Zipping, and Samantha Miss and Zarita behind them. Moldavian for home, led by 2 lengths. Down the outside is Zipping, Samantha Miss, and then came Zarita. It's Moldavian well clear. Samantha Miss running on strongly. Zipping coming back, but Moldavian wins it. Moldavian a length to Zipping. A half head Samantha Miss, I think third just in front of Zarita. They're followed in by Thesio, Sailor Gear, and then Gallant Tess, Princess Cope, never a hope. Master O'Reilly, Alamosa, Rahib and Sermione.
What an amazing Cox Plate. Maldivian, there are the scenes with Mark Kavanagh taking out the Tattersalls Cox Plate. He was emotional after the win of Hubagotchi, the Amy Vars. He is beside himself now, Steve.
Maldivian is there. No stopping this man, Mark Kavanagh. The only thing that might have stopped Maldivian is Hubagotchi. If times count for anything, he'd have won by 10 lengths. Bruce has got Mark.
Mark Kavanagh's here. I don't think he can believe it. Mark, what about that?
I just can't speak.
But I mean, you tinkered all the way through. Has that been playing catch-up?
Oh, look, a couple of times, you know, look, give up never won a race, and there was a couple of problems there, but I knew what the problem was after a while, and, you know, I would have liked to have, you know, I thought never underestimate schooling and blinkers on as a build first time, and I had it up my sleeve, and I've had it there since last year, and it was the final card that I had to throw out.
It was the last throw of the dice, or you had it?
It was the trump card, but I had them all. That I had not done a thing with him, and we'd started tinkering with his gear, this preparation, but the final card was always going to be the blinkers.
And the jumping, you always thought you wanted to jump him just to get him right?
Well, that's right. That's always been in the back of my mind too. And these are an amazing breed of horses, and there's so many of them that have come good over the pony jumps and with blinkers first time. So I waited and waited until the last roll of the dice.
But you kept saying you knew what was wrong. What was it? He wasn't finishing those races off.
He was getting his tongue back. It's easy as that. You know, I think he had a similar situation, and it was going around a bit, some sort of thing where it made their throat a little itchy, and, you know, maybe they're getting their tongue back. That's all.
Is this as good as it gets for you today? No wonder you didn't run Hubagotchi in the Cox Plate.
Oh, this is as good as it gets.
Good on you, Mark. Well done. Mark Kavanagh soaking it all up here, Caroline.
Weren't they amazing scenes there with Mark Kavanagh, the hand shaking.
How do you feel?
I'm just elated. It's fantastic.
I mean, if there's a thing about karma in racing, you found it today, didn't you?
Sure did.
Were you supremely confident? I know you were confident going in, but supremely confident given that you knew the horse better than anyone?
There was nowhere else to go after today. We had him tuned up, and we played our last trump card with the blinkers, and there was nowhere to go after today.
It's a pretty emotional one for you.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
Don't win a Cox Plate every day, mate.
Good on you, mate, and hopefully there's plenty more. Let's go to Claire Bird with the jock.
Feeling at the moment, you know, so many emotions, but, you know, Mark Kavanagh, you've got to hand it to him. He's turned this horse around. He didn't stay last week, and, you know, comes back to the track and distance, which he loves, and he's just won a Cox Plate.
Well, you've won a throws of the dice, really, with this horse for Mark, but as he said, it's easy to train them when they're going well. He's done a great job with this horse.
Good performance, great ride, Michael Rod. He's got away with murder here. 120.4 the first 12.40. I reckon that'd be the slowest first half in Cox Plate history. Danny Nikolic was wise to it on zipping. He made his move probably from the 1,000-metre mark. Samantha Miss just shuffled back a touch, came to the outside on the turn. She ran home powerfully. We'll see that.
Pretty special today for you and Mark.
Cox Plate's always been the race I've put up there, you know, probably in front of a Melbourne Cup, because it's the best of the best win the race. And
you came back each day, even though it looked disappointing to us, you still were a little bit positive about where he could end up.
Oh, Bruce, that was I was feeling bad towards the end, because I'd come back and wouldn't have anything negative to say. You know, I know the horse so well, and I know that there isn't anything wrong with him. And, you know, his track work's always been as good as what it's been this time last year. And, you know, so I've been dodging you guys of late because I don't know what to say, but you can come to me all you want now.
Humble view. But a lot of people, myself included, and a few jockeys, managed to misread the Cox Plate. Michael Rod and Mark Kavanagh certainly didn't. Maldivian dictating from the front. I said yesterday it was probably the slowest run, not overall time, but sectional-wise Cox Plate. But I was wrong again, because in fact in Maccabi Diva's year, just 3 years ago, they ran even slower for the first half. But it was very slow yesterday. 120.4 for the first 12.40. In Myton Power's year, he ran 30 lengths quicker, about 115.6. Sunline used to run about 117.5 when she was winning the Cox Plate, so good luck to them.
And who cares? I mean, at the end of the day, on the roll, we'll say the name Maldivian. On all those facts and figures, Steve, you can say Hubagotchi would have won the Cox Plate by 10. If you say that, Buffett would have won the Cox Plate by 8.
Yeah, that's a matter of curiosity. I'm not saying Hubagotchi would have won, but it's just interesting.
It doesn't matter.
You were pretty animated watching the races yesterday, mate.
Yeah, look, I was fired up going to the races yesterday. I thought they'd all win. And
I was vindicated. They nearly did.
So you went with Maldivian very confident that what you'd done was right?
Yeah, I did, actually.
Take us through all this.
Yeah. Well, that's me there, the bloke in the goal.
Well, Cav, I think, what, 7 days ago, you thought...
Well, are you allowed to smile when you win a Cox Plate?
Of course you are.
This suggests, though, Mark, even though you went there confidently, that you didn't go there taking anything for granted.
You're never doing a Cox Plate, do you? I don't know.
Better than a mile and a half?
Well, yeah, I mean, look, last week we found out he couldn't stay. So, look, when you can never discard horses that are real favourites at Moonee Valley, that really excel over the track and trip, and you can never ever disregard that. And he's a knockie at Moonee Valley.
You said you... Well, 53 weeks since that fateful Caulfield Cup and about 54 since his last win, but for Maldivian, 8 wins from 26 starts. He now is a Cox Plate legend. Zipping good, Samantha Miss, excellent. Worry about...
Did you read it better than most of us leading into it, though, that it wouldn't be too much of a pressure race?
Well, we could see that. There was no real pacemaker in it. And, you know, I think everybody underestimated the blinkers going on him, and I think everybody thought that it was a last-ditch resort sort of thing, but we'd had this plan for a long time.
There must be ones of Australian Cup?
I think so, yeah. I'll give him a rest now and go straight to the Australian Cup.
Cup day beaten jockeys in yesterday's Cox Plate. Some interesting comments here from Dan Nikolic.
The way the race was run, like, you know, between the mile and the 1600 and the 1000, they really slowed, and I just decided to make a decision. Lloyd left me with sort of free rein how I wanted to ride him today. Last year I fell into the trap of being the last one to let him go, and it just didn't work. I don't think the best horse won on the day. I know Maldivian, full respect to him, he's a great horse, but you know, I really think he sort of had it given to him today, and I was solid inside the last furlong, but I was just really wrapped the way my bloke relaxed and sustained a run.
You think you should have won?
No doubt, Bruce. Like I've covered, he's a very, very underrated horse.
Yeah, had the perfect run. You know, the pace slackened around about the 1400 to about the 1200. They eased off a bit. Zipping ripped around me. It was just perfect. Then I got on his back. Coming up the side, I was so confident. At the 600, very confident. She was just trucking up behind Zipping. Come out to sort of get going. And then she slowly lost, or not quickly lost ground on the bend. She really struggled around the corner. And you know, like, when you see the winner, he actually quickened off the bend. I was actually losing momentum and I couldn't quicken off the bend. But her effort was very good, I thought. Christian had a perfect on the day. Good run, but wasn't winner.
Of his skin, there's a few things I'd changed, but every time again, the horse is just 12 months away, I reckon, and I started him up out of the gates, and I was going to be very happy to try and leave Maldivian, and when he sort of showed us, he'll be back here next year.
Yeah, pretty happy with him. Obviously would have preferred a bit more tempo sort of from the middle stages, but travelled up good. Probably wants a little bit more jar out of the ground, but overall his performance was good.
Sits well.
The tempo of the race didn't help, and she likes to be up in the clear, but probably wasn't going good enough to push my way out into the clear, and she was under pressure before the turn.
Well, probably the most interesting comments from Dan Nikolic, Mark, saying the best horse didn't win the Cox Plate. Your reaction to that?
No worries, Dan. We'll write that on the bottom of the photo there for you. Thanks.
Steve, how did you read some of those beaten comments?
Well, look, my first reaction to yesterday's race was that a lot of jockeys rode poorly. I certainly give full points to Dan Nikolic, as he was the first guy to see what was happening and took off. Ollie reacted pretty quickly too. And then I don't want to be too critical, because I guess if you're riding a Sailor Gura or a Master O'Reilly, a horse who's heading towards a Melbourne Cup, you probably don't want to take off too early, even though you know the pace has been modest.
Well, do we need pacemakers, Rich, in Australian racing?
But like obviously I go to the Sydney races 3 times a week, and Gay Waterhouse trains a lot of winners. And why does she do? Because like her father Tom, she trains a horse to get up on top of the speed. So if there's not enough speed, they dictate the win races. I like when they say the best horse didn't win. So if they go mad and the leader just gets run down, the best horse swoops, they're the best horse. I think all credit to Maldivian. He did all the work early. If their show had kept going, he would have had to sit off or do something. Good ride, the best horse did win the race.
And started...
Well, everything in the race ran well, bar Sirmione, Thessio and Rahub. Every other horse ran well.
I think Rahub...
No, Brian, about this horse getting into the Cup, got the 1 kilo. There's the market as we sit. Moonee Valley Cup, Steve, hasn't really been the modern-day guide to the medal.
For Danny O'Brien, I think probably the other key thing about that race yesterday was that Ice Chariot, who ran so nicely in the Caulfield Cup, was very good yesterday. And we saw 4 or 5 other horses who were so much better than Ice Chariot in the Caulfield Cup, so that would look to me to be the key form reference at the moment.
You got a handle on them?
Look, I saw that horse that won the Caulfield Cup, and I watched him afterwards, and he blew for an hour. There's a fair bit of improvement in him.
Oh, that's not a good sign for us. It's not a good sign for us, is it?
Well, supposed to be the Weight for Age Championship of Australia. Geez, there were some dumb rides in it. But full credit to Mark Kavanagh. He had a sensational day. But like I say, it was just a walk in the park. The race was all over at the 800-metre mark there, Graham. They've charged home there in 34 seconds. And
34?
Yeah, look, they've just left the back markers no hope. Of the jockeys, you'd give the Rod 10 out of 10. You'd probably give Nikolic 5 out of 10, and probably Dwayne Dunn 4 out of 10. The rest get 0.
Right. Good morning.
He said that. It was the old 3-card trick. You make the concerted move to go to the front from the gates, which gives all the other jockeys the impression, right, the pace is on this time. And, of course, then as soon as you get to the first corner and no one wants to challenge you, and Tessio did come up and get up sides with him, but they just put on the brakes. And down the back straight and around the end of the course, they were just absolutely walking. And then it was Michael's good judgment to wind it up at the right time on a horse that likes to race that way. And, look, as one emailer who emailed us earlier today has said, he pulled their pants down, and he did.
He did. It was a shake, and that's how it worked out.
Joe, you must have been confident a long way out. He just charged out of the barriers, and he just sort of, you could tell that the horse just wanted to be there yesterday.
That's quite correct. Yeah, no, as soon as he jumped, you knew that he was going to be there, and I guess, you know, about 400 or 500 metres out, the other horse went up to him, but Michael, you know, kept his cool and railed. In the race, you only gave Danny Nikolic a 5 out of 10. I think you're a bit harsh there because on zipping.
I probably was. Look,
no, that was a good ride.
He had to make a move, and Danny's a great judge of speed, and he'll live by his decision there. And a lot of people were bagging him after the race, but when you assess the situation, it was a wise move.
If he'd have stayed back with Princess Cope and the rest at the back of the field waiting to make one,
he would have finished with them.
He would have finished back with them.
Yeah, exactly.
It was an inspired move. It was a risky move. It didn't win the race, but I think it paid off.
Yeah.
I think he finished 3 lengths ahead of where he would have been.
And Samantha Miss was very brave. She just over-raced a little. 3 weeks between runs, and stepping up in distance may have just went against her. She was just a little fresh there.
Yeah. Fillies in Cox Plates, mate.
Yeah, she still went a brave race.
I will stick with my theory.
Yeah, you're a genius.
It's worked well. It keeps working well. Don't back up.
Now, what do you reckon about their comments, Joe? Have they spoken enough about Maldivian?
Oh, look, I'd won the race, and I really didn't know what came to place getters, unfortunately, for quite some time.
All right, Princess Cope?
Princess Cope wasn't her day. Wasn't her race, wasn't her day.
Opie Boston told
this time next week in Melbourne, Aidan O'Brien, Dermot Weld, Sayed Bin Saru and Luca Kamani.
Unreal.
What does that tell us about the Melbourne Cup? It's unbelievable what's going to happen this week coming up.
Another race coming up for broadcast, and it is 10 minutes away from start time. And it is, of course, the Group 2, the Jayco Crystal Mile. Of course, a Waterhouse Stable, the son of the very good mare in Foxwood. And we'll have a look at these runners as they parade around the mounting yard. We'll tell you what's happening on course as well with Alan Iskander. Number 1 is out. Number 2, Foxwood. What a great little kick.
Kavanagh do it again. They've already claimed the Amy Vars with Who Got You, the Cox Plate with Maldivian, and here they line up with Sea Battle, who's $5 out to 6 on track. And it's just been a remarkable story, hasn't it, Mark Kavanagh? You know, less than 2 years, really.
And away they go. Rockwood jumping reasonably down towards the inside. Pillar of Hercules jumped away well, so did Ruby Sant, and there's Magical Pearl coming over, looking for the lead in the early part as they've settled down, and Conquering still tracking out extremely wide. But Magical Pearl led Sir Slick, and Rockwood box seats right behind them. Reisman on a wide move, and Conquering right off the track going up. They strung out 15 lengths, covered them, and Conquering worked to the lead now, and he goes around the 800 turn. 2 lengths to Sir Slick, 2 lengths to Reisman. Magical Pearl now back 4th the inside, 1.5 to Largo Star. Rockwood on the inside of Pillar of Hercules, 2 lengths to Ruby Centre, 1/2 to Marching. 1.5 lengths further back, Road to Rock Orange County. Sea Battle on the outside, and then came Mock Spirit Star and O'Reilly's Clock. It's Conquering the leader down by the school, in front of about 1.5 lengths coming up towards the turn to Sir Slick. Rockwood getting up on the rail. Pillar of Hercules and Largo Star run on, and they're followed by Sea Battle starting to come into it. Could it be be Rod and Kavanagh again. It's Conquering from Sir Slick, Rockwood the rail. Wider Pillar of Hercules, Delago Star, and Sea Battle's the widest. Here he comes. Sea Battle sweeping on them out wide now. He got up to Conquering. Rockwood got a run on the inside. Orange County late, but Sea Battle they can do no wrong. Sea Battle wins it by a length. Conquering. Maybe Orange County from Rockwood for the miners. They're wide apart, not sure. Magic Pearl came back. Then Road to Rock not far away. Delago Star, Mock Pillar of Hercules marching. O'Reilly's Clock, Spirit Star, followed in by Ruby Scent, Sir Slick and Raceman.
What an amazing trifecta. Michael Rod, Mark Kavanagh, Hubagotchi, the Amy Vars Maldivian in the Cox Plate, and now we've had Sea Battle take out the Jayco Crystal Mile, doing it pretty easily in the end.
This is a day at the races, let me tell you.
What a day.
Oh, that's magic.
What a day. And every time he wins, he goes and bashes those two blokes up one more time, doesn't he? He loves giving them a...
Yeah, Mark, you've seen that movie Let It Ride where the bloke says, I'm having a very good day?
I'm having a very good day. And every time we put him up, he steps up and go again. So it's been really good. He'll go to the Emirates now.
I like the way today.
$1,067 for that first four. The time is 1:36.3, home in 36.2, so it was a good gallop, and that's a half second outside the track record. 6:10.
From Rockwood for the miners, they're wide apart.
Well, what a rise to the top it's been. He's a Group 2 winner. He should soon be a Group 1 winner, perhaps in the Emirates. Terrific again, Nesto. That was almost arrogant also, Steve. Sea Battle.
Certainly was. Barrier 14 after his terrific run in the Toorak from an even wider gate. Horse who's been so progressive with Mark that has really yet to turn in a poor performance. He was terrific yesterday. He and Orange County, the two closers. Otherwise, those in the finish were all on the pace. Again, they ran quick time, 1:36.3, only a half second outside the track record. He was terrific. I know I can get a little preoccupied with history, but I reckon this one's interesting, that only one horse, Dazzling Duke, back in 1985, has won the Crystal Mile at the Valley and the Emirates in the same year.
Yeah.
Tears I Cry, of course, who won the Emirates last year, did run third in the Crystal Mile at Moonee Valley in the lead-up, so maybe that means Sea Battle will win by 4.
Of course, yeah.
Look, he was still 3 deep for the trip. He earned every bit of that performance. It was a damn good effort. Conquering on speed, did it tough and continued to battle to the line. I was hoping that Kieran had have maybe sort of moved out a little bit there.
Michael's got one bloke he should share his Michael's got one bloke he should share his winner's check with, and that's Scott Seamer. Because Scott on Pillar of Hercules, who was a victim of circumstance, just made the race for Sea Battle because Michael just tagged onto the back of him. He got dragged in at the right time and it all worked. He just peeled off the back of Pillar of Hercules and it was a nice solid win. But he's got a lot to thank Scott Seamer for. He made the race for him.
And what are you going on about?
Well, the story of my day. Just replay this race and watch marching. That's the story of my day. That'll do me.
Good run.
Oh, yeah, terrific run. Yeah, terrific run. You want to have another look at it?
Get on him next.
Why duck back on the inside and follow Sir Slick here? That's what I want to know. Look, I'm talking through my pocket. That was the Get Out Stakes. And
yeah, the bird had flown by the time.
The bird had flown all right. It was flown straight out of the pocket. It was all over.
Yes, well, it's always next week.
Yeah, terrific.
They're on again,
Yeah.
Gee, Richard.
Sydney horses. They've been very rare to strike a blow.
Flemington hasn't started yet. Tell me this after the last day of the carnival, will you?
Okay.
I'm just in the mood for you
I'll wait
now.
again. I'm not against them. I hope they go down there and perform well, but so far, nothing.
The international raiders have tightened their grip on next Tuesday's Melbourne Cup after the shock scratching of last year's winner, Efficient.
A Melbourne Cup bombshell today with defending champion Efficient scratched from the race because of injury. In a heavy blow to the powerful Lloyd Williams camp, Efficient was considered the best of the locals to fend off the strong challenge from the overseas stars. Tony Jones.
Efficient had worked well yesterday morning, but 24 hours later, the alarm bells began ringing.
Yes, it was. We pulled him out of the box this morning and he had a blown up all front fetlock joint. And he's obviously strained his fetlock joint somehow or other, maybe in the paddock yesterday, maybe in his box.
Just as the local connections are fearing the European invasion, those visiting trainers were equally fearful of Efficient. Before today's scratching, he was third favourite in Cup betting, the only Australian in the top 5.
It was the best favoured of the local horses. It's dominated the top 2 or 3 lines of the Melbourne Cup betting since last year when we put a market up on it. So if we're looking across the board, all bookies across Australia, it's in millions of dollars.
While Efficient will be rested for the next 3 months before embarking on another Cup campaign, the Williams camp still has 2 chances in next Tuesday's Classic, Zipping and Sailor Gare. And spare a thought for jockey Stephen Arnold. He gave up the ride on Efficient in last year's Melbourne Cup to take charge of Gallica, only for Gallica to be scratched. Now, having been reunited with Efficient, Arnold again finds himself without a Melbourne Cup ride.
A devastating set this morning for the world's biggest horse racing operation. Caulfield Cup winner All the Good, out of the powerhouse Godolphin stable, has pulled up lame. The horse is now an unlikely starter in next Tuesday's Melbourne Cup.
Crisis time. After track work yesterday, All the Good was no good. The equal third favourite for Tuesday's Melbourne Cup was stiff. Events check revealed he was lame.
What happened sometime, you know, and happened also for us before here in Australia. I mean, nothing new with this. I mean, sometimes this is an animal, you know, and sometimes, yeah, they're very healthy. Next day you'll see them there unsound.
It's a savage.
It's been another day of drama at Sandown, with European galloper All the Good withdrawn from Tuesday's Melbourne Cup, denying it a chance to snare our Cup's double. Christine.
When he won his big handicap at you know, Newbury in England, and also he won a Caulfield Cup here, we thought he's the right horse to run him in the World Cup, but unfortunately again there is no luck.